It worked. Hey, Samantha. It worked. So we're in right now. But hopefully he'll be able to. I know somebody did it before when they, oh yeah, all they have to do is request and then it comes up. Okay. All right, this is what I want. So this is unlike any live I've done before. I'm going to get comfortable in this chair. Okay. The little leg on this thing. Just want to be a little cockeyed. Oh yeah, that's good. That's what I want. Okay, I didn't get my water. Let me get to my water. Just flop down. Let's see where Astro is now. We're grounding. This is the grounding frequency. That's so funny. Hi, we restarted because Astro was showing me how to work something and it worked. He'll be back. He had to go get some water probably. I can't find my microphone from last week. I was traumatized in my last week's live. We catching the Schumann resonance tonight. Yeah, this is part of it. We're gonna go down the trail because each one will let you know how it feels, and that's what I want to do. So we got there's I used to be able to say it properly, and I know you're gonna know what I mean. I think the decibel is the loudness. So we have it on. We're going to turn it up just to see how it sounds. And that's 7.8, 14, 20, 26, 23, 33, and 39 hertz. That's the grounding frequency. So about like 15, you can still hear it. 13 from the distance it is from here. You can a little bit hear / feel it. And so that's a little more felt than heard. All right. Decibels is volume. Thank you. That's what I thought. It's been a long time since I said that out loud. Now I gotta remember how he told me to do that dual camera. So this will be on for about 20 minutes. Thank you. Grand evening to you too. I usually do 30 minutes of this, and then the next one that's going to come up is the 0.1 hertz frequency. But this is the playlist that I put out for TikTok, for people on TikTok. So you can see it says the planets right there. So when you go to my bio, you click on my YouTube account and look for that, what that looks like. That is the playlist I created, which has all the planets. So this is that one, and then it goes down to, yeah, gratitude rules. You're awesome. Totally. That's been the number one thing. So then there's the heart-brain coherence. It goes to the sun, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, the moon, and then here's a pure 144,000 frequency, and then this is the sun, moon, and earth frequency. I wanted to say all this with Astro here, but I logged out to follow the work. It doesn't say any, oh wait, it doesn't have to say that. All right. I'll send him another thing. And there are other ones too on here, but this is the one that Astro and I are going to highlight tonight. Pending he comes on back here. Highlight tonight. Pending he comes on back here. Here. I saw you relapse. I wanted to say hi. You are loved and special and important. That made my whole night. No matter what happens from this point for the rest of the night, this whole night to me is validated by what you just said to me for myself. I'm taking that for myself. And dude, that's you? Oh my gosh. I've been praying over you. I trust myself. I know myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I know myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I know myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I know myself. I love myself. Stay with me, okay? I heal myself. I trust myself. I know myself. I love myself. I heal myself. I have missed you. You have been on my heart and mind for the last days, since this all went down, but for sure. Stay with me tonight. And now I know what your handle is. Trying to do this. It won't let me click on your profile. I know how that goes. I totally know how that goes. Hey, Gigi. Astro, humored me with this thing, trying to get this little circle here and the screen on the back, and then I had to log out to do it, and he's supposed to come right back, and I'm waiting. So that's what we waiting for. We'll give him a few more minutes. Hey, everybody. Y'all so sweet to join here. Pending Astro coming back. TikTok can't touch my account, and they shadow ban. Oh, dang gum. Yeah, you've definitely been on my heart. Karma quit. Now I know how to do this. That's good, because this is going to be something that I think is going to happen. I like it when I found it the other day. Hey. I'm good. I feel great. I'm not big on small talk, I reckon. One leads, hey, there he is. One leads to, uh-oh, there we go. Dual camera will be turned off when you go live together with others. Oh, that's what happens? Dude, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. It turns it off when somebody else goes live with you. Did you hear me?
Serious?
Yes, dude. I'm so full right
So
now.
why don't you, okay, so like, for example, what you can do though is have some pictures of what you want to talk about, right? Or things, you know?
I'll
You
just
know,
turn it back and forth. Okay, so once I show you it here,
yeah,
I'll just flip it back to me.
It make me small so I can see, right? You know how to do that?
No, I don't need to do that, huh? We can keep it like this.
Okay, no, okay. Look, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
No,
go ahead.
no, that's fine. I just wanted you to see. So, okay. I'll flip the camera when I want to do it. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Okay, how are you? Wait, let me turn you back. Okay, how are you?
I'm actually doing great. You know, I was very, looking forward to this, and because, it's always exciting to have interactions with those that, want to resonate with you and what you talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
Does that make sense? Like it's kind of like a connection. It's a connection that even though around me, right, like, my brother South and my mother, right, like they connect with me in astrology. But remember, this is an individual journey. I'm lucky to have, at least in my house, a couple of households where it's allowed me to be myself, but it's taken time. It's taken a lot of time. And I tell people, have patience. This is Jupiter in Cancer. Whether you like it or not, this is a lot about family. This is a lot about the experience of Jupiter in Cancer. It goes to our ancestral roots that comes from this, right? And so yeah, I've been doing great. It's kind of it's still accepting the changes. Like it's like fuck, it's like we have to surrender. There's no other choice. And I'm speaking of this candidly because it's where I am able to, have such fucking faith in God right now, because like for me, astrology has allowed me to see, conditions that through time I'm able to journal down and see, well, okay, all right, you got this. I'll be there to, in the journey of the universe. And I'm great because see, you and few in my lives and others get this universal message. It's not about the astrology and the way that people perceive it, because the way that I use a north and a south node is like Vedic uses it, not like tropical. They don't utilize Chiron either the way I utilize it, because it's kind of like with John D. What we could do a live about John D. sometime, because I was one of my teachers, and this is a lot of the work I did in the Rosicrucian, understanding the macro to micro, and then the micro to the macro. And so right now it's become very micro. I've noticed that in your whatever chart, your human design, your numerology, your astrology. But this is why I see that when you connect, you understand it. I'm always here to give to those that actually want to connect with the energy, because they're going to utilize it, because they're starting to see it's not what I'm telling you. It's actually like the universe's connection, that you can make what you want of it. That's your God, my God, it's all God. And I have no shame in saying that. You know, a lot of people do. You can take that as it is. I tell people, you know, but it's a one thing that allows man to humble down is that. And astrology has helped me out, you know. Like right now, if I didn't have it, let's just say, I don't think it'd be that easy. You know, I've been having to walk the talk to keep this job from God. I always say, you know, I'm always going to be feisty in this, but I've learned, and you've seen me in my journey. I have no, it doesn't shame me, or I don't feel vulnerable, even though it is vulnerability. Grow on this, right? And the way
That's
that
what
I
we're
know,
supposed to do, though.
yeah, but many
That's
don't
the
like to
problem
speak
that a
about
lot of people are having, is
that.
they don't want to feel their vulnerability or look like an ass at times because they learned something, you know.
Well, I mean, it took about a lot of people, because it's like I realized our projection doesn't define our who the essence of what we are, but it does help us correlate with each other, right? So you can take it, and that's helped me out, right? So like I won't lose my spice, because it's but calm down, Astro, because I know I have that. You know, like but
I
you know the
can't stand
beauty.
it when people tell me to calm down, dude.
Well, I mean, for me, it took a little more about like seeing it from a perspective, astrological high vibration I have. And that's what allowed me to make that change, right? My Mercury and Scorpio don't play. You've seen it. You've seen me on lives. I mean, and sometimes I just like unalive like the whole panel, and I get it, you know.
All right,
So
well, that brings me to this. So, but right before I got here, I was listening to Mercury. So I don't think
mm,
that I talked to you about this. Let me. Okay,
hmm
here we go. I'm supposed to be turning the camera around.
Mercury's
Okay,
141, right?
is it? I'm gonna have to look. But look,
Well, let me know. Okay,
let
yeah.
me show you this. Okay, this is what I'm telling y'all about the planets that I have on my playlist. This is it. So when you go to my YouTube, you'll see a playlist that looks. This is it. This is the playlist. See how it says planets? Can you see that far away?
Not really, you know. So
Let me get up.
maybe.
All right, hang on. I'm going over here. Hey, doggy. All right. So when you go to my YouTube, this is what you'll see. All right. That's the plan, the way it looks. And then this is going to be the list down of the whole thing. So let me get and we'll run down it throughout this conversation. But this is Earth, the Schumann. This is the zero point 0.1 hertz. I'll tell you how I use them medicinally. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, the moon, 144,000 hertz, which is just for fun. This is epic. This is the sun, moon, and earth. So
Okay.
we put these on tonight. Okay, I had the grounding one on when we first got here. Now we're on the zero point 0.1 hertz frequency. So what I do when I turn this on, when I get home from work or whatever I need to do to recenter, when I'm feeling like I need the planets in my life, I put the Schumann resonance, which is 7.8, 7.8, 14, 20, 26, 33, and 39 hertz. That's what's mixed into this playlist. I do it for 30 minutes. Then that's my grounding. Then it'll click over, it'll automatically go into the zero point 0.1 hertz, which I encourage anybody to listen at least an hour a day of this zero point 0.1 hertz. And then once that goes through, this is like 10 hours or something. I'll listen to the sun until I feel like I'm in a different position, like I'm built up, free, and ready. Then I dive into Pluto, and then so on and so forth. So let's see what Mercury says. It is 141. Yep, 141.27. So I'll put that on right now because we're talking, and this opens up for communication, intelligence, language, writing, reasoning, social skills, better grades, public speaking, transportation, learning. And I'm going to turn it up. You hear that?
I do.
That's crazy. Dude, let's leave it there for a second and watch how you feel. I already feel it. And see where you feel it in your body. Clear your mind. I feel it, dude. I feel it already pulling my heart, okay? So we're going to go down because you don't need to listen to it that loud. That's just for people to see how potent it is.
Keep on doing. The reason I'm not responding is because I'm intaking the energy, okay?
Good. Absolutely. And then I normally would listen to it wherever it resonates, but I don't want to hear it. I want to feel it. So that's why when people say they're having noise, it's not noise. It's a feeling. And if you're feeling irritable by whatever I'm playing in the background, that's something that needs to be worked on. And that is my stance here, so to speak, on planet Earth, okay? What I am expertise in. So for this distance, or if I'm in the other room, 15, that's 15. You can kind of hear it here. And you will feel it. It'll start to tighten down. That's why what I say when Mercury's in retrograde, this is the feeling it makes you feel.
Interesting.
Yeah. And when you listen to this a while, you'll feel yourself go into it. But once that happens, you clear your mind and you start to, that's what is considered meditation. What comes up in your mind, which is coming from your center heart, because that's your subconscious, is going to be what needs
that would make sense because it's a second house of moon, which is Taurus, Venus. And so from Venus and sensation through feeling, you can form a thought.
I knew I was going to have a great time with you tonight.
But you see what I mean? Because it's like that.
Yes.
It's all connected to the science. So keep on talking. I love it.
Yes, I love it. That's why, because it's difficult to find somebody to talk to about this that gets it on the other level. So yeah, so that's this one. And we felt how that feels. So while we're sitting here for that distance, I would probably be like something like 13 because my couch is a little further away. But 9 is a good feel. 11 is like a high end of the good feel. All right, so now we'll go back to, just because y'all got the feel of that, we'll go back to a little bit of grounding and we'll talk. And that'll center us back. Okay. We'll put that on. I'll leave that on 13. Okay. All right, ready. So I wrote down Jupiter is in Jupiter's in Cancer. So how long is that going? And how long has it been there?
I thought you were going to play a little more. But I do like that of what Mercury's, because if you think about it, right, it's the mind, right? So the mind has such a control on Earth, right? For us as humans, more than anything, right? Even though our heart is what is the connection, where it's where to make it to the mind, right? Logic, intuition kind of energy way, right? And so right now Mercury's in Scorpio. So it's a good time. It's very tense. It's raw. So everyone's getting a little fractal of what I was born with or those who are born with Mercury and Scorpio, right? So our thoughts can really be a good direct way to figure something out that's already kind of been in the works, but it can get stuck in obsession. Scorpio's obsessive. So like guys, do not fall into like just right now it's Mercury in Scorpio is tense. It's trigger. It's a judgment card, right? So it's a trumpet, and sometimes we don't want to hear it. So the whole collective is going to go through this for the next 3 weeks. Remember, these triggers are here to test you, for you to know, can you confront this moment instead of fight, avoid, in a way, right? And literally, I've had to do that where I'm like, I'm going to lower myself, because even though we all do fucked up shit that's not really that fucked up, but it can turn out that way from another person's point of view, right? Whether we don't call them back, for sometimes I forget. Like my Sagittarius energy is to remember people's birthdays or things like this. Like that's part of our energy, right? Because for some people it's something that comes naturally. So for me, like that lesson is huge, right? And so with this Mercury right now in Scorpio for the collective, it's kind of testing people that you have the utility to vocalize it. Just choose wisely. And know that if you're somewhere that it has to be utilized too much, is because we're not connecting to where we are being received. Like I'm being received right now and you are.
All right. So, do you know which planet is Scorpio off the top of your head?
Pluto.
Okay. I'm so happy right now. Okay.
Pluto.
I did not know that.
And then we think about Pluto, right? Like I was like, because I'll share with you some things I was putting from my workshops that I think would be nice to talk about now. So when Pluto represents authenticity, it's at its highest, radical authenticity to shame. I mean, those are the extremes of Pluto. Right? You've heard me talk about that. So, and it's about knowing that from authenticity is acting from one's authority, just to make it simple and not find so many definitions for it. And so that takes a lot of willpower, confidence, right? And this is why Pluto's connected to Mars. Like in Vedic and all that, Mars used to rule Scorpio and Aries, but we evolved. Now Pluto is in our evolution, scorpionic energy, right? That's what I mean by I utilize both systems. All systems are wrong if they get stuck in one system, whether it's tropical or Vedic or Chinese. It's about utilizing the planets. Because I mean, even in Chinese astrology, they go by Jupiter. And so there's a Jupiter. I can do that in
Why do
tropical.
you think that is?
Well, because it falls into like the Tower of Babel, the separation of tongues, right? Which is that allows us to not see where the core essence is from, and we divide ourselves in linguistics.
Okay. And that's expansion too.
It is expansion if you allow yourself to expand in not such a rigid way, because some of us experience, and myself too, one of the reasons right now we got to go out of the opportunities that we can really take advantage of, that we sometimes just, oh no, I've already done that. I've already been there. Right now life is saying, you still don't know until you go kind of energy. Or until you try it out. Like this right now. Honestly, 3 months ago, I would have never thought I'd be doing a live with you. Because
Dude,
it
I
was
was like, drum roll. Like, what's gonna happen now? Woo.
oh man, that is so funny. So that's when I had to release myself and say, stop being, this is about principle. And you're going to see that personality really takes a strong hold sometimes on our better connections.
Whenever I met you, when I first, well, you already know we've been through this, but at the same time, it's so awesome to meet anyone in this day and age that has the passion for what they know that they're burning for, to bring forth to people to help them heal. And you can't fake that shit,
Yeah, you can. You can tell when somebody's doing it because they want to like be popular, or it looks cool, or they make money, but no, you can't. So that's what keeps me going, right? Because with my family and my friends, I was my friend, and then out here in the community, and then with people that I see here from time to time as live clients, I've had to learn that I'm confident with what I do, right? But it takes a lot of challenges, interior challenges of acceptance. And then when the exterior situations come to test you if you are right, because people don't realize that you can heal. It's all inside of you, but life tests you at that moment of acceptance with a situation, and when you realize that when you pass that moment, you start to see, okay, because that's where I started to kind of connect and really obey myself by obeying the universe, by obeying God. It gives you what the fuck you want. That's how, and that's how it's been working. And to be able to connect like with my brother, which we don't have many things in common. I'll be honest with you, but through astrology, oh well, we can talk political astrology, the planets. So, and it was kind of accepting those things too, right? Like, and I didn't know that, after 20 years, like, so me and my brother, like, we just moved back in together 3, 4 years ago back here. But prior to that, I was living in New York and then in France. And even when I was living here, I didn't know he knew astrology, but he's known it for a while. For me, I used to have this friend who would always be like telling me in my ear, and I used to think it was the stupidest thing. And you know what's funny? Until it jumped into my face because I called out to God. When you fall on your knees because it's like, I don't find any hope in life. And that was my 2016. That's when our Nodo returns, right?
Oh, that's me too. 2016 is when mine came.
Remember, because of your ascendant and descendant. Remember, you have a North Node Virgo. I mean, a North. You have an ascendant Virgo and
Yes.
descendant Pisces. I have a North Node Virgo, South Node Pisces. This is why it affected us that year.
It
It's
was
amazing,
bad.
isn't it? Well, and this is the opposite. This is why I know I can make it. I'm alleviated a little bit, but I know what it can. Since nothing ever repeats itself in exact momentum, but it has a cycles, right? There's cycles of different experiences that we get to have, and this is the opposite of that because it's year 9, like we are now. Yet it's opposite eclipses. Literally, Virgo.
Does
You
that
know what I
mean
mean?
it's a completion for us then?
It's a completion of our service that we put to that. Well, that you had to kind of like put together. Life kind of force. It's like universe forces us, right? And then we put it right. To be honest with you, God, if we don't really put ourselves together, but yeah, this is a completion of that cycle of service. It's where we got to give the a way to a new that doesn't come in the pattern, analyzing schedule, routine that we are so used to putting together. That is so wholesome. It's actually right now something that people should be careful about reviving things that are already not there anymore. Like these are where like little things come back, whether an ex calls back or whether this happens or situations. That's how the universe tests you, and this is where people are like, "Oh my God, I knew it! Oh my God!" And but you can internally know, "Oh my God, he loves me! Oh my God!"
No, I'm not.
And you're gonna see that, Tina,
Okay.
because this is no joke. This is also Jupiter square Chiron. This is like the ultimate not ever having not having your back. And it's not that people. Okay, so we got to really talk about this one in a little bit. I'm gonna get some water because, and then hopefully Sal can come in because I know it was like actually doing a course and he was gonna go watch some football with friends. But I know that Jupiter square Chiron. If you think about it, Jupiter is the one who took the poison arrow for sacrifice of saving his brother. And what happened was, since he's immortal, he has to live with that wound, right? And so we're born with these past wounds of Chiron that we're supposed to learn how to walk through them. As others see us do that, they're able to heal. So a lot of times we try to heal these wounds. And so Chiron is where we have the Chiron is where the victim is born in our charts. Victim. Yeah, it is our shaman, our ancient wisdom, but I always like to give the polarity, right? When a lot of us don't tap into this, wherever you want to know the victim lies, it's there, right? For me, for example, it's in my third house with my moon and Taurus. I'm victimized, right? Well, I'm not, but I'm going to just express it where it comes from, okay?
Right.
Through my mother, my siblings, and through what I speak about of astrology. Because the mom is a moon, third house is siblings, and then the third house is ancient wisdom of the past with Taurus. my value of what I bring into this world, I don't think anyone values it. I'm victim. So then you first come out very strong, like I don't care what others think, and then you start to soften it up because that's how you start to embrace it instead of defend it, right?
Hmm.
If that makes sense. But
Yeah. And so Jupiter is the expansion of that. But let me ask you,
Jupiter, yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Jupiter is the one that took the poison arrow for Chiron?
And Saturn is the father. Yes.
Okay.
So there is a lot about where Jupiter is Zeus. For anybody who doesn't know, that's kind of like the Jupiter that we all have in essence inside of all of us. Because it represents Jupiter is how we experience. If you ever want to know about your experiences, your opportunities, this is Jupiter. Wherever it's at, this is where it lies. Your guru, your teacher, Jupiter. You're a con artist, Jupiter. So because they can get the best out of you, right? It's where you're like, it's also like um it's divine timing, but it's knowing how to not explode and implode. It's knowing how to just align yourself in the perfect inflation, because Jupiter represents tumors growth, right? Fatty liver expansion. It's also when we gamble. Oh yes, yes. Oh, because Jupiter Sagittarius. I'm a Sag. I get it, right? It's like, oh, rose filter glasses. Ah, it doesn't matter. Whoa! I just gave up the deed to my house and I lost everything. So, right. So I like to give both sides of Jupiter because it's important to know. Yeah, it's a guru. It's your wisdom, right? But it's your Karate Kid
How do you come back from that?
through Saturn. They have an alignment through time that life puts situations that you must face. Saturn is Mr. Miyagi. Jupiter is Karate Kid. How about that?
Okay. Saturn's Mr. Miyagi. Okay.
Yeah, you know, because Karate Kid's like, I want to go. I'm ready, right? And then Mr. No, you're not. Like, for the tournament, right? So he had to learn. Saturn's like, you got to clean, because Jupiter is about like, the opportunity. I just want to experience. I want to travel. I want it. That's why Thanksgiving starts off Sagittarius season. Time to eat and travel and responsibilities. No, things. It's allowing. So we are born into these seasons. It's crazy, and so there's a reason why Christmas is Capricorn and why we get presents, because presents are material. And when we do good from our experiences, we get presents on Capricorn material season, Christmas, because it's a right condition for presents to. It's crazy, and I get it, because I'm not one of like, I give the children their presents. They're the ones who get for Christmas, right? Because it's something we can't take away from. I mean, at least me, right? I'm that uncle, but it's about like also understanding that there's things that was a purpose for, is what I'm trying to say. And the astrology plays a lot of it.
Yeah. I love how they created the archetypes of these things to explain it to us, though. Okay. So I'm going to flip this and tell you this part. So this is the one that seems to get me in a lot of trouble. And this is the one that everybody needs. This is the heart-brain coherence. I wish I had studied up or brushed up on my study, rather, of the 0.1 hertz and what things that this has accomplished. But this is between the brain and the heart. And Greg Braden, I believe, is the one who really focuses on this teaching, and how much that when they call this the vertex, I do believe. And it is when the heart and brain, which is the mind, the center of the heart, but the brain and the head actually functions the organs, which essentially, when the center of the heart, the mind, and our actions, the frontal lobe of the brain, is in alignment with itself, that's when we are dynamic manifestors. So that's what the 0.1 hertz frequency is. So I'm going to crank it up and sit with it for a second. I know that's loud, y'all. I know that's loud. It's not supposed to be that loud, but this is for emphasis purposes. All right, we'll sit with this for a second. Just sit and see how it feels in the body, where you're feeling it. Like I'm starting to feel it in my lower back. I know that sounds crazy, but that's where it's manifesting itself. So that tells me that tension, there's sadness in my life that I'm still working through. And that's where sadness is held, is in the lower back, kidneys area. But after a couple of seconds, it's like a deep breath happens. And then it's too much. It's like, I gotta balance this, which it's a frequency. It's not meant for decibels per se. So you feel the difference in how it felt when it came off of that high. It's very powerful. And this one is so loud in itself that, like, I'm doing 9 because I'm across the distance here. For it to be more of a feel, you can kind of still hear it a tiny bit. But when you're listening to this, you don't need it high. It's a feel. So it's not like your ears are having little hairs in them affected by the loudness, the decibel. It's about the vibration that vibrates through the human. So we'll let this play in the background since we got that bump about how that feels. And we'll play this for a few minutes while we talk. And then we'll move on to the sun and see how that feels, and so on. And I really do want to talk more about Jupiter and Cancer, because I heard that what Cancer needs is expansion, and that's the moon. So anything you have on that is really...
We'll talk about that after.
That sounds good. I got my notes. I'm writing them down. And then I also wrote down with the micro level, which is what we just did with that sound frequency. That's where the micro and macro, the micro is for humanity is within themselves. And then the macro is how it manifests in society. I probably just did that 10 times because I couldn't see that it flipped. I like that. Saturn the father, Mr. Miyagi.
That's one thing because that's what Saturn is, right? Saturn wants you to win. So if he would have gone to the first tournament, he would have probably lost it, right? He would have probably completely lost
Oh, yeah.
the battle, right? So Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. And Karate Kid's like, oh man, because that's what we have, Jupiter. We have this energy, right? So we have to learn how to not overly excess ourselves with it, right? We have to know the limits, right? That's why Jupiter and Jupiter and Venus, which are two benefics, right? Doesn't mean that the other ones are malefics, but they have tendencies. We have to like really understand this part of it too, right? That when we have these two benefics, they can create, yeah, you're probably going to have abundance here, money, this and that, but it can really cost you in the long run, right? You're probably somebody that's extremely overweight or underweight or has a lot of, because it doesn't utilize how to know its purpose and value. It can become too much, right? It's knowing how to utilize these planets. And sometimes we all have a part in our life that's luck. Serious, even looks and all that have that. But it's knowing how to utilize them. It's knowing how to utilize your money if some have extra money. Seriously, right? But we all have it for a reason. And you can see it in the charts. But what was interesting that you were talking about this Jupiter, right? And all that. It's realizing that right now, Jupiter in Cancer, I think it's at 22, 23 degrees or 20, it's at 24 degrees. It's squaring Chiron, which is an Aries at 24 degrees. And this is before we get, I wanted to tell you, because this is going to be what's going to be affecting Jupiter. So, and what did you want me to tell you before that, though?
No, this is a great role. This is what and then also I just want to mention I want to add in, so when you're talking, add in what degrees mean. So at some point,
Okay, 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 okay.
I like to expand on that too.
Yes. Okay. So, we're gonna talk a little bit about this Jupiter, and this is about like when we talk about like the guru, right? The guru, or we talk about our teacher. But right now, it's teaching us where. This is about the lesson. That's the main thing. Jupiter is the lesson of the year because it goes through year. That's why in Chinese astrology you have 12 years, 12 houses. Jupiter goes by sign per year, right? So when we understand this, that Jupiter right now in Cancer, the lesson is, and also a lot of our ancestral, our roots, a lot of things that we have abilities of cutting right now, and cutting them by facing situations that are going to come. That's the only way. And then you know if you actually worked out through it in the situation, because you know things don't come back. Trauma doesn't come back. You can diminish it. It's a progress. You know, I get that as myself working through it. It's but it's a beautiful like evolutionary process. You know, but it doesn't live in the past. That's one thing I've learned. It doesn't hold weight. There's too much weight in trauma, so it gets stuck in this time still like that is with you, you know. And we'll go into that next week if you want to talk about that more deeper, Pluto and trauma. I think this would do very good, and with the stuff I've been putting together for like months already.
I
So with
think it's really important right now in this turning that this is happening and that you're on your game with it, because this is what humanity needs right now.
Oh, that feels so nice. Thank you for saying that. And you're the second person too. And it's crazy because like I got some compliments from family this weekend that sometimes I don't really get, because sometimes you know how we can get, right? Like, but that's what I mean. Life is like you'll get it, right? So real quick, remember that this it's not a gentle aspect. And it's about to hit peak by tomorrow. It's already feeling it, okay? So this is like the wound, like Chiron in Aries is like the wound of the existence of itself, right? Like not knowing where, having the confidence to be yourself, like that pink Cadillac in a Mercedes Benz dealership of chrome colored cars, and you're that pink Cadillac that's off, but you have to. Can you drive? You know that, and I get that, but we got to learn how to kind of now. Okay, this is something that's testing me. So it's testing a lot of people in their confidence. And this is what we're getting with Jupiter and Cancer. So we're not going to go off. And so this is testing us also with the confidence. We're not good enough. Oh, I've already done this. What was I thinking? Like these moments of ups and downs. Jupiter and Cancer is very bipolar. Okay. It's like, oh, so it's like these moments where you're calm and zen. And then all of a sudden you have like 2 hours later, you're in a different whole scene because something came up, situation called about, was a word called out, this happened, or your daughter, things just are just happening, right? Because they're testing us if we can you work through these changes that the universe throws your way right now? And I'm telling you, we're able to. So Chiron is also right. Do I have the right to be? So this is carrying ancestral childhood imprinting that realize, you know, you don't have to have a lot of, there's a lot of rejection that people are feeling really vulnerable for. But it's where you remember rejection is your best protection. I mean, like that goes a long way. It's helped me. When I know that sometimes I'm not everybody's cup of tea in the spiritual community. I've learned it through astrology. It's helped me out. Rejection is your best protection because then we want.
I'm a loner
No,
for a reason.
yeah. I like that
For a
about you.
reason.
I like that about you because you're a loner, but you're not. But you're connecting, which is important.
Because I'm what do you call it? Quality.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
you are.
quality. Like I
Yep.
can't stand my inner, because when I was a little kid and I was in it, and these are people that's supposed to love me, and learning then I had to forgive them because they had their own set of wounds, you know. But not as an adult. I don't have to do that shit.
No, you don't. It's funny.
And
Out of like all the case studies I've done with Cancer moons, as my father's a Cancer moon, and like I like my friend Nancy a lot, right? There's always this trauma that's carried from the past, from the nurturing aspect, right? Whether it's a mother, father, or both. right? So I always tell them, no, like this was for a purpose, for served you, and it's not that it gives them how can I say this? I'm not telling you that you're giving somebody like, oh, it's okay that they did that, but it's having an understanding why it happened. It releases a lot of that extra, resentment we can hold on to ourselves. We can release a lot more. Because my dad, it's funny because I hear you say some things and I could hear like little things like that, right? But remember, sometimes we do create a little more than what it really was. And this is where we can
My
kind of,
case, my shit was worse than I'm saying it.
well, no, I'm not saying you. I'm speaking rhetorically, right? No, you're open about it. I've heard you,
Yeah.
right? But you
I
don't
ain't even
also
touched on
drown
some of the
people with
real
it,
bad
right?
stuff.
No, but this is what makes you a great person. I mean, you don't think about like if we want to go deep down even to the Jesus story, right? He was a bastard son.
I love that about you too, that you talk about the Bible and
You
I
know,
love that about you.
because I love I do. I always say I hate the division, but if you talk about Jesus and the apostles, they weren't like light beings. Some of them were delinquents, right? But they
Yeah.
had to go through that. Some of us had to go there, and they had fucked up childhoods, you know. Fucking Mary, young as fuck, and not Mary. You know what I mean? What was Jesus born into? So look, I'll tell you this right now, and I get it, right? But what I like about you is that you don't dwell in them. You don't have to over drown people in them. You don't feel more powerful if you express them. Because I see the difference. I see those that utilize them as covert narcissists already using this pain for others to gain their side. That's not how it works.
No.
That's why I respect you in that aspect. Because
Thank
you don't
you.
drown it.
Because I don't want nobody to feel like that, like I felt. And I know that whenever I was in it and there was a dynamic and it was you got this, I always went harder bad because I said, if I'm down here in the pit, I'm gonna go ahead and scoop up the rest of this shit in the pit.
Right now with Jupiter and Cancer, this is expanding emotional tides.
Okay.
Family myths. Right now, we can clear up some things right now. Sir, I've been able to. Everyone's personal. I recommend you do this.
Yeah.
It's also moral frameworks around nurture, protection, and belonging. But this is where faith is coming from caretaking the home and emotional loyalty, right? Understand of being grateful for those who you have. And no matter, that's how they love. We have to see that. And yes, sometimes it's gonna get to you. Yes, allow yourself to feel that energy and might react. This is where this is life. But know that right now that's who they are. We accept that. We really release that, hoping and dreaming and wishing that someday, right? Even with my brothers and sisters or the experiences that they have with my mom and dad is different from me. But then I don't see it as one way. So you see that this is how together these energies work. Because it really makes life not so personal. And we can find ourselves in a more, that's when we become people pleasers, right? To get something that we already are not even meant to have that way. Sometimes you have a better connection with a parent through, moments of, separation and then connection. Sometimes you have more consistency with some children. Sometimes you have, because that's how it works. Like, you know what I mean? Like my brother and my mom have great conversations with me and my mom. We have good connections when we're doing our practices. But then when it gets too long in conversations, I become argumentative, right? But then I've learned how to connect, but not with everyone though. It's learning who do you have more frequency and connection of expression with. I mean, this is what also helps out in astrology because we don't with everybody, and we have to kind of accept that, you know.
Yeah, well this is what I'm saying about my role here. Whenever and that's why I love the season that we're in. Really, I love it because I
I
know that
love Libra season.
I need expansion about this too. But when I went into the trenches and decided I was going to experience all what I could experience so that when I came out, because I knew I was going to heal, that I would be able to say, this is how this works. This is how this had to work. This is what happened. This is the experience. And bringing that empirically studied information to the table and having it recognized by people who really need it, not people who are just judging it to say whatever they want to say about it. I'm in tune with that because I don't want anyone on the planet to continue in their trauma that they're not able to come out of because they don't have the tools or the resources or the gift that I have, to pull it through with the intellect and the knowledge, the passion. So it's a real gift. I mean, it was hell to get here, but it's
Well,
still a real gift.
yeah. I mean, I thought I would have had my studio by now, right? But at least I know I've been growing. So like when I started astrology 2018 19, that's when I started to connect back with my family again. But it was when I started working, right? When Jupiter entered Aries in 2022 of the springtime. This is when I started to work as astrotherapist because I jumped on the timeline, which Jupiter is about to start it up, and this is what we're going to experience. So, it's been what already like 3 years and 9 months, right? I would have never thought that. With my brother, been working almost 2 years, but on my own 3 years, right? And I had to like really sacrifice everything. My car, which I was just saving up for, right? Because I had to sacrifice and have some budget in order to do this because I knew I had to invest in myself. No one's gonna pay for my readings if they don't know who I am. So it took a lot of that, right? And but what I love about it is that shit, like the universe just keeps on giving whenever I just go live and express without having to sell myself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, like that's why Jesus went to the church. Don't sell there. Like, I don't go and sell like $25 readings here. Like I don't do that shit. I might go collaborate with somebody and do that, right? Or I might put, like book a reading or stuff like that to connect, but I know that comes, right? Because right now, if we're fixated on the money making, we're gonna fall short.
You
But
were
if the
saying something about that, about the talk about that part with the money being. I could be totally wrong about what I'm about to say, but this is what I heard, but it might not have been you. Something about money being the god or the energy of, or some kind of, or the devil. I don't know
no,
what.
no, it's okay. So money is just an expression of value because you can have resources, right? So we think of Jesus, Buddha, and many of these prophets who served. They had everything given to them when they gave their services, like a room and board, to make it simple. And guess what? At the end of the day, is because they knew their value. Jesus knew his value. He wasn't just going to go there and have to, he knew his value. He was served. People served him. He didn't get a paycheck, but it's like having that around you right now, right? Because those resources. It's about giving you to understand, give him this day, this daily bread.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Because
I like it.
okay, because like right now, like it's like if I would have thought about money, Tina, I'm a good astrologer. You already seen it. I could drop everybody like it's hot and go prostitute myself and make easy $500 like that. Pa. You know that? It's tempting. I'm not gonna lie because I know I'm good. I can do this, but I know that how it comes, it's important because it's like this astrology is more than just the money. The money's here to miss, like we're here to be comfortable. And I'm starting to get there, right? After, like it's been a year now that it's been building up, but it took a really long time. But that consistency, I told you, if it wasn't for the universe giving me these, the verification, the faith that, look, it's happening. And so right now you're on spot. You're connected. You're protected. You don't need to overprotect yourself. I want to share that you are right now. See that this Jupiter in Cancer is also creating like excessive for people. Like I have to protect myself, right? Like this is about knowing your sacred boundaries through the interior work that you do, right? But if we put too much block right now, we're missing out on the opportunities during this moment that everything is settled. That's why it's delays. It's about that's why right now Mars that is not retrograde is like we want to do this. I know what I want to get it, but why is it like I don't feel like step one is what step one used to be to get? Because we're all finding it right now. There's no plan, Tina. I need you guys to know that there's no plan right now. That's the one thing I want you to put on the post-it on your a post-it. Look how old I am on your refrigerator. Right?
Yeah, I have to agree with that totally. We live, me and my family, my children, we live in the now moment and we focus on now because we already been doing that. They
Good.
tried
So
to
you've
make
been practicing on that.
they
Good on
tried
you.
to make us not do that by just with their temptations, but at the same time, it's we want to plan like to come up here, go down there,
or to a job, or to even get a job. Like there's
anything.
not even a plan for that right now. This is another thing, Tina. People in the jobs, right? And it's gonna even get like it's about to enhance, right? There's jobs that are coming through innovation, but the universe, if you think about it, God's taken away anything that's making you miserable. It's making you face it.
Yay.
I'll just leave it like that to make it simple.
Yay.
Okay. And so if your job doesn't meet your heart, right? What's going to happen, there's going to be intervals within it and even within yourself of, lack of inspiration and motivation can also unalive a person. It bored to death.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was a time during Pluto and Capricorn, and we had a lot of Capricorn energy in the past couple of years. But this year has been the year of releasing that. That there's no plan to get it done. This is not about the same impressions of what the world was. And this is literally about if the job doesn't connect to your, you know, divine expression. How do I know if that is? Does it still motivate you and does it still inspire you? That's the easiest way I could say it. Because right now it goes to those extremes. And so there's going to be mass layoffs and things. You're going to see this, but there's things that are coming that are connected to something better. But as long as I always say this is a message, as long as you feel that, because the universe is giving you opportunities. If I didn't think that opportunity was real, I wouldn't be almost here more than 3 years, Tina, doing this over and over and over, but it's been growing. I guess it's what faith is all about. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. I get it. But I'm still sending that message because we still have this chance. Because next year, there's no opportunity for that. You're going to have to really work harder than you would ever have to just put yourself out there.
So tell me about, oh, wow. So this year is okay, two things on this question. One is about the shedding, the finalizing of shedding from the year of the snake. And then next year is supposed to be hard. And why?
No, okay, so this year is where from 2024 around November, when Pluto finally entered Aquarius and never back into Capricorn in our lives, this is the beginning of what we've been feeling. And the connections that are happening are going to be where collective trauma is going to be put in networks. Meaning that wherever you're at, you're going to have to release, right? So this year has been a lot about South Node Virgo. The Virgo energy is out of order. Meaning anything that has to do with what you know about Virgo is right now the negative effect of it. Micromanaging, schedule, details. It has to be this way. Those things are what's exhausting us and really not allowing us to have a pleasant night's sleep. Because it's about this release right now. And I have a lot of Virgo in my chart, so I get it. So I'm expressing what this year was about, understanding the release of surrender, to know that overanalyzing and really trying to put things in a way that have always worked. And this time it's just like, it seems like it's almost about to, but every time it does, nothing gets put together. Nothing gets accomplished. And so right now, South Node Virgo is reminding us we have to let go of anything of the 9 to 5 mentality. And so by next year, when the nodes change, but before all that, we have Neptune going back into Pisces on October 22nd. And then we have Uranus going back into Taurus on November 22nd.
Okay, I'm writing this down, so I missed one. Uranus and Taurus, November 22nd. And what was the October 22nd?
Neptune back into Pisces.
Okay, got it.
This is why I'm giving you the explanation of why it's going to be, because we're going to go back one last time, and we're starting to feel it. Because for the summer, we've been feeling the fire of Neptune and Aries, the spiritual fire. This is where we're going to go back into those waters, and instead of, going against the current, we should be able to navigate ourselves in these moments where we are about to see a massive expression, projection of collective shadows that no longer will be passing through when Neptune next year goes into Aries, in our lives and everyone else's lives. we have to read that, and that's one of the things where I was trying to tell you guys about this regression of Neptune. Is very important to know, because it's about realizing like this is the flooding. You don't want to flood the boundaries that you've been putting up together this year. What you've been doing from April, May, June, July, things that are okay. Remember, we're not there yet. You didn't get to where you thought you were going. Chill the fuck out. You're gonna get there. Because I was telling people since March, I was like, look, in September, shit's about to get real. In October, it's even delays. And so enjoy the summer, I kept saying. To now know that we're doing this it's like a purification. We're going to cleanse up everything from 2012 and 2018. This is like one last sweep up of the spiritual awakening of 2012 and of the changes in values and relationships of 2018. Please, yeah, those 2 dates are going to help you out for the rest of the year, and you will see it because it's going to come back, right, in ways that you're going to be like, oh my God, this was from earlier. I mean, like, this is where you're going to see them, right? So I'm giving you guys this little like gifts because and then when you see this, it's like you have the power now, the power to even say, I can participate better in this if I allow myself to know this isn't from anything with past grudge, right? It just needed to be settled because some things life puts aside because you weren't ready then. And these things are going to test you. Do you value yourself? Because we can easily fall back into the waters of Pisces, and it's hard to get out whenever Neptune goes retrograde, because, you're going to get stuck with other people's dilemmas, and you don't want to have that. Because there's going to be a lot of spiritual poverty. What I mean by poverty, which is also the monetary but it's also where poverty comes from a lack of self-worth, right? And so when you're lacking self-worth, you're lacking a home, you're lacking a car, you're lacking money to buy food, right? So that's because Taurus is money and Uranus is going back here. In 2018, Uranus entered Taurus. This is why, and this is why I'm glad I started the astrology in 2022, right? And made a waypoint there of where we're now, because you guys still have that chance, right? Because you guys have been working, but a lot of people kind of say, "Oh, this is crazy. This is not important. This is actually the time to say, like, I can work like this. Yeah, that's what God wants you to do. Really enjoy what you're able to bring. Work the system so it doesn't work you. Work the matrix so it doesn't utilize you. Like I'm doing it now. Oh, I'm getting off TikTok because I have to do something, right? But what are you gonna do? Do something here. I'm doing it here.
I know, dude. Last week I was so like, I don't know if I'm so done because I already know. So this is my service, but I don't want to do it begrudgingly.
No, there's that. Okay, so you can, adding the vibe, like making it your own, literally right now. Like from what you know, right?
I'm just,
And you
I'm
have the
having a
gift.
hard time because I know that from what I've learned that I don't have a problem with if somebody comes to my table and they turn around and take a crap at my table, that I don't want them there. That's how I feel about it. But societal, because we're not quite at that pivot where people are that we're getting there, where an individual will decide, because people stick with me, because the group think is still in a heavy activity. So that's that little tiptoe right now. Because I'm the same. I've been the same.
And Pisces,
Okay.
Pisces, collective awakening. Collective, which is really in the beginning, collective disturbance that brings awakening to a belonging. How do I? Because see, the reason it was 2012, because I like to tell people not what I read. Let me break it down to why people wrote about this. Because it's a precision of the axis that changed in 2012. Polaris, the North Star, Regulus, went from 29 degrees of 59 minutes and 59 seconds Leo to 0 degrees, 0 seconds, and 0 minutes of Virgo. Like the shift, right? And it changes every 2,150 years, Tina. So this is why it was important, not because it was about the numbers, it was because of the alignment. And so then that year was huge into where we're ending. This is Neptune, the awakening, the yoga, all the stuff that started to come out, the media's massive control of where indoctrination began at the same time of the spiritual movement that got its hype forward. And what people didn't realize that the movement got also hijacked just like astrology and everything else. How? Well, by letting your ego die. It's not about letting it die. It's about sometimes saying, like, right now, the universe is kind of putting everybody's ego in check. It's an audit. I cannot stop that because when I need to be, it's an audit, period.
Yeah.
This is where right now our fucking ego that's been dropped by FedEx 1,000 times is broken. It's shattered, right? It's like we can't take anymore. Well, I mean, and this is something I wanted to bring up about that because we can't, like, when Neptune goes back into Pisces, this is about we can't control the water. This is going to be the realization where we're going to start to see that forgiveness is the only way. And what I mean by that, you don't have to forget. But you know what? By God, is it that worth it? Do you love yourself to not get what the universe is giving you? Because this is about forgiveness, and so it becomes a selfish act, my friends. And I'm saying it because I can talk like that because I worked through this, and it's hard. I don't need to give you guys all my traumas, but I can tell you it hasn't been easy being an astrologer for almost 4 years without having to go with things where I've learned how to laugh at it. Because sometimes I hear people like bitch about some things, I'm like, oh my God, relax.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't explain something to someone that they don't understand. How do you explain the internet to a child? Like a 3, 4 year old. That's kind of like what people are trying to do with our family members. They'll see it because we've all been there, done that. But one thing I did want to also say, guys, is Pluto is stationing direct on the 13th, right? So we're starting to feel that. I mean, it's already stationed. It's going direct. Because when the planets go, it's like a seesaw. Well, no, it's more like a pendulum, right? Back and forth, retrograde, direct, right? So when it goes retrograde and then it's coming back and it stations, it's like at a standstill. It's aligned with Earth, Pluto. And so what happens here is that this is setting up the stage for what Pluto is here, collective trauma liberation. And so it has to come through situations. And so this is where we can be what it is needed, a observer during the moments of a crisis. A crisis could be anything. A crisis could be that you're flat tire, you're late to work, you're fired. How are you going to take that? Are you going to participate, or are you going to see the observation of, has this happened already? What do you like that job? I'm just trying to make examples, guys, because this is how we can really become the best, investigators of our lives through the exterior events. How about that?
Yeah, it's nice too. It's a nice, refreshing stance instead of where it was
Yes.
before.
Well, at least look, I'll tell you this much. Cancers and Capricorns from last year and in 2023, because I mean, it's been with that Pluto opposition, right? It's been causing a lot where you've had to, as I always say for Cancer, stop putting flowers on a empty grave. It's time to kind of put that down.
It's a double. It has been a double hell for me. I'm like,
Well,
I'm ready. I'm so ready because it's the moon. It's the heart. It's the
yeah, no, it's a
emotion of the
moon.
whole. You feel it in your every cell. It's not just a thought. It's like
No, Cancer is the strongest sign, Carol,
it's
clairvoyant
a
and all that.
feel. But the beauty of carrying the weight of this gift of that is that once that the spirit, the light transmutes that energy throughout the cells of the body, unalivement is not even an option. It's just not. So that's why I'm here on planet Earth. Okay, a little bit of an intermission. Now it's the sun, okay? Flip the camera. So this is the feel 126.22 hertz, the solar frequency power. It's the sun frequency. Aspirations, leadership, masculinity, manhood, fertility, motivation, social status, humor, confidence, and power. So I'm going to turn it up. Let's sit with it for just a minute. See how it's making your body feel. Clear your mind. Remember to breathe. Relax your heart. Deep breath in. That's a warm frequency. It's amazing. And of course, not necessary to listen to that loud. But this is just the vibration now. You hear how you could hear it with your ears earlier? The vibration is still coming through at that low decibel.
Yes.
Well, so that's the sun, and we've been listening to the sun. So we got that feel. So we're going to go ahead and make the jump to Pluto and just let it play in the background, okay? Oh, yeah. I love Pluto. It's my favorite. We're just going to leave it at the low vibe. You probably are going to feel great with this frequency. To me, this one brings the whole body in with what you said. It's in yours is in Mercury. Your Scorpio is in Mercury, or Mercury and Scorpio Mercury. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna, because that to me, Mercury is the throat chakra.
Yep.
Me, yeah, and I feel it in the center of my heart, like my confidence. Like I want to say it, not just from the solar plexus, but the part of the self that says you gotta say it. And then Pluto brings in the entire spongy whole rest of the body and self to me. That's, I don't know, I'm saying that's how I explain it.
Yeah, no, but well, Pluto is the power, so let's hear it out.
Yeah. All right. Hang on. I'm sure my neighbors are getting healed right now too. They're used to this. Not this loud, but I'm feeling it now. Remember to breathe. It can be nauseating. Breathe through that. That's opening up that center. Might be feeling it behind your eyes too. Breathe into it. It might push your breath all the way out. Let it go all the way out. That's resetting the parasympathetic nervous system. And remember to breathe. Deep breath in. Open your heart. All right. So that's a good feel of that. Survival and regeneration, power over groups, superiority, unconscious powers, radical transformation. It says it again, unconscious powers. I think it's funny it says it again. Working with hierarchy, money and power, occult and magic, deepest, darkest desires. And that's the Pluto frequency.
Because that Pluto frequency, it's realizing that, wow, that was powerful. I mean, Pluto is powerful, and by the end of the day, right? It allows us to know how to know how to burn off what's false, right? So that, I guess that would help you out, right? Because Pluto is it's radical authenticity, right? And I guess that would be good to utilize the psyche to face what's really beneath conditioning. Wow. Pluto, because Pluto does connect to a parasympathetic system too, as you were saying. And like I said, it's all connected if you know what you're talking about.
That's right. And you can feel it. And the way I know is because I was there, dude. I injected some, like, it was bad. I mean, only the creator and me really knows, and the creator knows more than me how bad it really was. And I was pretty much like coming back from unalivement in its entirety, but not just like I lost it and then I came back. It was like I injected stuff that ran through my system, my brain, my nervous system, my cells, my tissue, like everything. And my conscious awareness of the ability to seek out something to help me live is what I did. And this is where the universe led me to the frequency healing. And this is just a drop in the bucket. These are the planets. There's so much more. But once I realized that the planets that they're swirling and that we have it because we call it an archetype form by name of Cancer or Scorpio or something like that. And then of course my studies on those too, it brought it as a whole inside of my flesh. And then my flesh was like, oh, wow, that hits this part of resonation in my body, in this part, in that part. And when you feel that, see that, and it becomes a reality, it's a game changer for life, for sure.
Of course, because you're seeing it and feeling it in real time.
Yeah.
Because you're conscious of it, right? You're not just there like, let me see if it works or not. Like, and again, this is stuff that you've earned throughout life. I mean, like that's also what it is. It's like everything in life has a price, and it's your authenticity. And so that needs to be earned through life, right? I see it like that, and you've earned that, like when I hear you talk about the planets, it's exactly the energies right now that we need to not, this is about knowing how to not get to the point of power struggles, learn how to work with this shit, because
that part, you said a mouthful just now.
That's part. Pluto is going to create, and it's about to become, it's about to get personal. This is what fears me, the collective right now, right? So I'm already aware of this, right? So I know that there's going to be moments, even in this community and stuff, that I will be like, okay, they're just finding an outlet because they didn't put it out there when they had so many opportunities and situations that came about. So when it's last call, the universe puts you wherever the fuck you're at, and that's what happens. So if you're in a scenario where you're at a place that you don't want to be at, and this is where last call happens, good luck. You better you're about to create
Get
a
buckled up.
yeah, yeah. That's one thing where I know that we're ahead of the game, Tina, and the people who are watching. But we have to also be humble in the aspect to know that we are susceptible. The moment that we think that we got this above the universe says, "Okay, let's throw you in your curveball." That's why I humble down, Tina. That's what keeps me right. Like I
Yeah.
know I don't. I know I have control of myself when I know what control the universe is giving for a purpose of mankind. Because it's not about me, but it is about me. But it's about me through the universe. It's
Dude,
not
I've
about
been,
the
I've
universe.
been showed so many times in my life. I got showed. You know what I mean? I got showed a lot,
Oh
many times
yeah,
in
right.
my life, and I'm fine with learning something new. It's the other levels of like I'm just gonna come at you for any reason. I'm also keen to those tactics too. You know,
Well, yeah,
so
because those are defense mechanisms of like being like think about like a child being triggered for believing Santa Claus and everybody's telling him it doesn't, right? So right now we're seeing in the community inner child acting like an inner
yeah,
child acting like
yeah.
a childish adult, like a
I'm like I just want to go fishing. That's all I really want to do.
and I always tell people like what we can really start journaling what's holding me back, for little things, right? And then because sometimes we don't put that as an acknowledgement throughout our day until we read it during the nighttime. There's a reason why nighttime, right? When we get to like sunset Libra is right before we get to Scorpio, right? And so the sun is about to go underneath, and so this energy during this time is when we activate ourselves to the process of the day. So we get thoughts, right? Like that during the day didn't come about. We can also align our biological clock, which is beautiful. So much you can talk about astrology, right? Like just alone like this Pluto that we're gonna feel on October 13th, and I'm gonna keep saying it. So like, it's not about having fear, but have awareness that if you are going through this moment with hurdles and turbulences, these are positive situations that need your expression. Because right now, people are really trying to hold a smooth sequence that is so monotone and lack of inspiration, holding the peace, and this is exhausting. Life wants you to know you can live in a little bit of like, you know, turbulence, uh, a little bit of shakeup. Can you allow yourself to see the beauty in what ruined your perfect day? Kind of energy.
Yeah.
I've had to do that. I mean, like I have a lot of Virgo in my chart. Like I'm the kind of person that wakes up and does this and do this. I clean the house in the morning. I have this done, and this is where I've had to just say it'll get clean when it does, and I'll do it. I'm not gonna exhaust myself right now because life is making life like the universe is creating a messy life for a creative expression. To find freedom is through chaos. This is where we have to learn how to thrive in chaos, not die in chaos. Chaos is not the annihilation. It's the point of finding the freedom for the order that's about to come. And you don't want to be trying to find freedom when order starts to align next year.
You know, I finally was able to watch the Book of Eli all the way through. I've tried to watch it for years and have not been able to. But 2 days ago or yesterday, I'm somewhere in time. I was able to watch it all the way through, and whenever he started, okay, so I don't want to give away the movie not that everybody hasn't seen it, but the part about the creation of Earth and how it started as a void and then there was let there be light, I totally resonate with that part. And what you're saying about what you just said to me is when we find that peace within ourselves, which to me is the void, like just a center point of knowing that the feel of our flesh, the way we can touch stuff, taste stuff, and all of that, that's the gift of humanity, of being a human, to have the availability for tangibility. So when people are miserable,
right? Because people want to leave this earth. They, like this. Why are you leaving something that you yourself chose to experience? You think that these angels that are divine have what man has? No, they need man in order to experience it. That's what I see. As God needs man and man needs God to be on earth. Period. That's that. Oh, you just said it. You just
yes,
chills. Because I don't think people see this energy. I think they're still stuck as where the archetypes and are representations of you. The psychological archetypes of these planets are also part of you. Like they represent a part of how you react, right? Neptune represents how you dream. Now, Neptune represents your subconscious, the heart, the higher octave of the heart, the soul, Sophia Christ, right? That's Neptune. And Uranus is the higher octave of the spirit, the mind. The spirit comes through the mind. That's the heart is a soul, feminine, masculine. And that's why in the Bible, when they refer to he, is because he is an outward energy. It's a projection, right? And so people get stuck in gender, right? You know how the Bible goes. It goes in such a divine orchestration of the universe inside of you. In the Old Testament and the New Testament go hand in hand. They're not separated. Because we evolved. So it was teaching us in the beginning as creatures that had, less involvement, that we needed to have it like this. So it's one of the things that really allowed me to understand how beautiful everything is, because we like to put a negative to it. Oh, the Bible is like, so when I hear people talk like this, I get why they're doing it, because it's been part of the indoctrination for you to hate this, because the reality is that there's more than you would even know in that, and I see it like that, and people don't understand it as an astrologer, how I believe in God. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's because most of these astrologers have become analytical and they memorize it, but they don't get the essence. Like I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, that's another part of your spirit I love about your spirit is that part. All right, since we talked about Neptune and Uranus, we're gonna now highlight Neptune.
Well, before we go there, I also wanted to go a little to finish off that Jupiter in Cancer real quick.
Okay.
We're about to feel this today and tomorrow. So remember that Jupiter in Cancer is expanding our emotional needs, right? It's also nostalgia and the desire to kind of belong somewhere. But with Chiron and Aries, this is reopening the wounds of individuality, right? Am I allowed to stand alone? So people are looking for people and subconsciously believing that they're not needing validation, but this is exactly what they are actually looking for, which is what's causing them to not allow self-expression. This is also realizing that this is a healing crisis of independence versus safety. Okay? Because this transit is going to flush up a lot of childhood imprints inside of us. Right? So it's going to feel like the parts of us that believe needs to have its equality in what we're giving, nurturing, reciprocation. We need to find where this is actually going fluid. Because if we're forcing it, it's because we're doing it. It's literally, you can see, I'm doing it wrong. Except that this is no longer working. Right? This is what the universe has been telling you. You're not wrong. You're doing it wrong. And you're going to make a wrong out of it if we keep going against the current. All right? Because right now people are looking for this emotional security to feel safe. And right now you are safe. Trust me on that. If you stay to that part of your heart, you're safe. Right now, what the unsafe part is our mind. Our mind can create miraculous things, right? It can fuck with our intuition. We want to create something in order not to face it. So, and this is why I love astrology and how you're connecting to it, because it can give you confirmation. Okay, like this is what I'm experiencing now. Now I can activate my intuition, clairvoyance, and that's going to get the target. Instead of really trying to just figure it out all by yourself, that's not part of the journey. The journey is knowing yourself, but figuring it out through the journey of others and yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a unity of one.
It's necessary right now.
Yeah, and so one more thing is realizing that Jupiter exaggerates the coping pattern right now. Because people right now are gonna inflate and victimhood. You're about to see this go like as a fucking trend. Where no one cares about me. So I'm gonna overfunction myself so somebody does care about me. I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? So let's and it's okay we feel it, because I felt that earlier today. But know why are you feeling it? Because there's a part of us that's not connecting to our true part of nurturing ourselves, of loving ourselves by caring about ourselves. So the universe is gonna bring this longing because you're not finding your connection. So it's okay to feel that, guys. I'm not telling you you're doing wrong, because I feel it too. So remember that this is also where both can avoid the same fear, being vulnerable without control. So people are feeling like if they express themselves, they don't want to be vulnerable. When this is causing them actually to hold back so much that there's opportunities that they're able to find answers within each other. Because right now, vulnerability is key, but it's having confidence with it. I look, if I tell you I fucked up like I just did now, but I'm telling you the condition because I know what I'm talking about. I don't feel weaker just because I've expressed myself in something that I was supposed to achieve months ago. But do we ever heal? It's always a healing process. The moment you get to step 5, you go to 6. You don't stay on 5. And I think this is what keeps life active and alive. Like it's just, yeah. I mean, like, and then, okay. So one more thing is like, what would be like kind of like the breakthrough, right? So if you think about it, Chiron and Aries is teaching us how to heal from self-trust, not self-protection, right? And Jupiter's asking us right now, how can we grow our sense of safety from inside out, not outside in right now? Because we're feeling the outside and we're thinking this is a protection. You're feeling exactly how you're feeling security inside. So this is about to understand that this square is going to train us to self-soothe before we rescue. Okay, act before we are fully ready, right? It's going to teach us. Are you going to really understand this challenge? Because this challenge is opening up the wounds that you're supposed to embrace. Because if you're going to try to really fight off these wounds that other people are going to test you, triggering you, some things that are going to really bring up things that are going to be like, what the fuck did you just say? It's literally the opportunity for you to confront that and really take that challenge. Because right now with Jupiter square Chiron, you can literally get a lot of keys open in your life. But I'll be honest with you, this is where I see that the majority at first is going to make their victim wounds weapons with words.
Dude, okay.
I hope that makes sense because I put it together for you guys now. Jupiter square Chiron.
This is important for what I'm dealing with right now. I totally agree with that, and I did not have the words to intellectualize it. And at the same time, I'm not going to be victimized by somebody victimizing from using their victim wounds as
100%. Yep.
I'm not doing it. Public service announcement, not happening.
So
that's the whole point right there.
Well, so we can choose two things, right? We can choose two things that this is where these wounds that are coming are just like kind of universal targets of majority that were asleep, that no longer can just hold inside. And if you're there in a situation, this is also an awareness that your time is valuable. Why don't you value yourself? Like you can start seeing it that everywhere you're at, it's literally you through another. So this allows me to break free from personal, like in the four agreements. Don't take it personally.
You know what has really been a thing is when I go. This is the healing right here written out for everybody watching and listening. When I go into when I have anybody in my presence, okay, for an interaction, my mirror, and they come in some kind of a way that causes me to feel some kind of a way, and I step back and I go into myself and I say, what is me, what's going on here? What am I needing to heal, learn, grow? Because that's what I do. And when I come to the point that it is not my issue, the only next availability is cut them off. That's it.
Yes, but I'll tell you a little secret right now, right?
I need to know one.
Okay, because right now, this is so there's moments in life that this actually is the key, right? And this is not about taking people's shit, but it's knowing that if you see the patterns of repetition of it's coming through different words of people and mouths, but it seems to be similar patterns. This is where you can choose whichever way you want, but this is the final confrontation, like the final countdown. So, and I get what you're saying because their wounds won't be mine, but we can clear up a lot of those wounds that were given to us at that moment from that person from prior wounds that we've done. This is kind of like that cleansing spot. This is like, do you really forgive, right? So and I know it's harder, easier said than done, but I'm working through this. I'm sharing with you. You know, and I don't have to tell you everything, but I'm sharing with you moments. So this works. Try it out, guys, because it's going to be more enhanced, right? We're not going to be able to avoid for these next 10 days, I promise you, discomfort and turbulence and radical changes. But if we work through this moment, I can promise you this, that you'll be riding smooth through most of the day when these moments arrive. I can promise you that. That's all I can, but I can
I'm
promise.
torn. Okay, I was torn because I know me. If I have the opportunity to take these 10 days and just isolate and work on, do what I do, I'm fine with that. But
The universe is not going to let you isolate, Tina. You'll see what I mean by that. Remember,
wait, it's not the time you said?
this is not the time.
That's what that's what I mean. I can't help it. I'm just,
I know, but that's what I'm trying to tell you.
yeah, I like it.
And so the universe right now is bringing all these things to you that a lot of people are seeing like an obstacle that's getting in their way of what they're trying to accomplish on a daily basis. But it's actually that obstacle that's giving you the way to your new daily basis. And so we're staying stuck in this other timeline, reviving a life that no longer is in existence, reviving something that is no longer learned and no longer here for you to experience. It's already been overdone, overwhelmed, and overfinished. And so the universe is now giving us these opportunities to get and consolidate all our fucked upness, right? I made up that word, consolidate it, and take care of it. And so situations are going to come that you must confront. And they're going to probably be with people that, you don't want to. But this is going to clear up a lot of things. And if you don't try it out, you won't know. You won't know.
I'm a trier for sure.
So, try it out and say, okay, so then you're going to see that less and less of these entanglements that we call cord cutting. Now you're doing the real cord cutting because you're doing the God cord cutting where, the moment that we accept the interior work, the exterior needs to play out by the universe. And when we see this, instead of saying, but I've accepted it, why is it coming back? I've been eternally at peace. The universe says, okay, but nobody else knows. We live in an inner outer world, man. And I hope that really helps, guys.
I just talked to my son about that today. I said, once that piece registers and you sit with that and it builds some continuity, the external just comes along. Like
and it comes along. And at first it's going to come along with that. It's going to come with the most unpeaceful situation for you to earn it. Because that's what it does at first, right? So people get so disillusioned because they can hold this piece together for a long time with you're building your inner peace, but life needs to challenge you. because then we don't live in a world that's monotone. You know why they would throw people in the dungeons back then? To be alone, to not have any interaction, to basically die in solitude,
Yeah.
because we're humans of interaction. So even for our own inner healing, we need outer experiences. There you go.
All right. This
Whoa,
is
whoa,
good.
whoa, whoa.
So this is Neptune. All right. 21144 hertz, which I love those numbers. Overcoming delusions, setting boundaries, personal space, fame and image, beauty as perceived by others, non physical beauty, fulfilling dreams, attention from others, higher aspirations, heal the collective subconscious, become public icons. So, Pluto. I mean, not Pluto. I'm so sorry. Just erase that Pluto part. Neptune, Pisces. That's where the P came from. All right, here we go. Notice where you're feeling it in your body. Keep your breathing steady. Like the water, just flow with it. Deep breath. Keep your heart open. All right. Decibels going down. And that's how Neptune feels.
Wow, 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 wow. Like, and especially now that we're feeling Neptune.
It helps so much with these because when you listen to the playlist, even if it's just a little sample, your body will tell you where to stop and stay, and then you can manage it inside your house, and then face the world with everybody else who's not working to the levels that we're working on it right now.
Wow. And you know what's crazy? Sorry, I was putting on my headphones. Neptune also at the same time, if for dreams, right? I'm wondering if you can utilize this, right? Because since it utilize Neptune rules our dreams, it's why we're able to have this sleep sequence, right? And it also rules our creativity, creative intelligence, right? Imaginative intelligence, all that imagination, which imagination gets us out of extreme rigid situations like right now. So people are kind of lacking that now. Now that I think about that, um, we get stuck in this pattern of rules. That's Saturn.
Yeah, that's what I always say when that happens. That's what got the Messiah unalived. Rules, not just
Oh,
fluent being happy.
my God, that's crazy. Well, because Jesus represents the Christ consciousness is through Neptune, right?
Yeah.
And so we think about Saturn, right? Why the church made Satan out of it is because it's as these are energies, right? It doesn't mean that it represents it, but it has a capacity too, because Saturn that created Capricorn to exist as an experience of man here, that Capricorn is a reason why it represents the go god, right? And we hear about this, and why it also represents Saturn is where it's apathy. It's as Saturn represents where we have responsibility, accountability, the matrix structure, things that are necessary. But it's where you need a little empathy from Cancer to not really, just to get to the top, you'll do whatever it takes. And so when we become apathetic, right, is Saturn. So Saturn right now is in Pisces.
Hmm.
So this is where Saturn, like, there's no control. Like, Saturn is like, you must just abide by the Neptunian waters that Neptune created Pisces. So this is where there's going to be stronghold, where you must understand how to have imaginative structure, meaning that you got to be building with the waves. You can't depend on solid. That's kind of what it is with Saturn right now. So a lot of people are so used to creating structure a certain way, where now structure needs an imagination. And this is why people are drowning in their own, accountabilities and responsibilities. They don't know how to really take account for right now. Because you have to know how to really say, the universe right now is creating these currents that I must learn how to structure myself with. I have to learn how to swim with the current and not against it, or not drown in it,
Yeah, just
right?
flow. Just flow with it.
And with this Venus and
Flow.
fucking Virgo right now, Venus is a lower octave of the heart and soul in the connection to Neptune. Venus is in Virgo. Venus does not like to be in Virgo.
Okay.
Right? Venus, this is like, Venus and Virgo, it's well,
I
because
was listening to Venus earlier and I was like, oh, wow, this must be one
yeah,
of those.
yeah, Venus does not like to be in Virgo, because Venus and Virgo, like, Venus is like love, pleasure, the value, right? It's our value, where we have our self-worth, our money, right? And so, but when it's in Virgo, it's precision, discernment, and order. So filters affection through logic and standards, right?
Mm.
But so that doesn't correlate with the Venus energy, right? And so this is where it can make us a little difficult to understand that desire doesn't have to be clean, safe, and always in function. Like, we don't need to love this way. That doesn't mean, so people
Oh,
are,
that's intense. That's so,
that
that's
that that is intense, because it's very
extremely
narrow
so
minded.
now.
Venus and Virgo is very narrow minded. So as a collective, we're all feeling this. Even if you have your Venus in another placement where we respond, God is Venus and Virgo. That's God's Venus and Virgo now. We're all
Wow.
feeling it, right? So this is where we have to connect to where romance of love and value, the things that you really love. There's no checklist. There's no grammar, right? It's understanding that the universe is telling you to not see love as an efficiency, because Virgo, Venus and Virgo can be that, and it can get strung out very easily from its own desires, from just love itself, and understand the emotional chaos is a beautiful thing, to find freedom of what you've been stuck in the loop that's been smooth. It's been a smooth, deadly loop, right? It's very, lack of inspiration, lack of motivation. Where is this lies in Venus? And so right now people are looking too much into a checklist of why not, instead of just feeling it momentarily. Okay? And the South Node is there. So this is like, this is the department that's closed. Virgo department is out of order till next year. So anything that we're trying to make come together in Virgo energy is gonna fall apart instantly. And we're gonna see that, right? So when we think about it, its narrow-mindedness comes from anxiety around the worth. If I'm perfect, I'll feel safe and loved, right? It's realizing it's not arrogance, it's defense, right? So we have to understand that this is a control as a trauma response.
Mm.
Okay, right now for the collective, and for those with Venus and Virgo, it's knowing that it's a tough. That's why it's in fall. That's why it's not in a good placement, and we all have bad and good placements. But the universe itself, but it's not really that it's bad. It's just that, think of Venus, doesn't she wants to be in Taurus, where it's about the comfort and the money. She likes to be in Cancer because it's about the emotional, the addiction. She loves to be, and it's equal in Leo because there's a little of royalty there where she likes, but in Virgo, the maid, you know what I mean? It doesn't like this energy, or it doesn't like to be in Capricorn where I have it, right? It becomes very pragmatic, right? It becomes very, cold. That's why I know through my chart, this has helped me out in my life to learn how to work with it through a different perspective. And, that releases a lot of stress. But with Venus and Virgo now, yeah, for the collective, there's about stop judging imperfection and start using discernment as an act of grace. This helps out. This
I
will really
highly
help out.
recommend zero point 0.1 hertz to everybody every day, at least.
Yes.
That will help bring all of that from the head and the heart space. And do some research on what 0point 0.1 hertz does for the dynamic and the body, and it'll help. It will help. It will help you. It'll help everyone.
It will. I mean, I believe so, right?
Yeah.
Because like all this, so this is going to be opposing Saturn. This is why I was bringing it up. And this is going to be a challenge. This is where people are going to feel like they're worth the shit.
Sorry,
Or
I accidentally invited somebody. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Toddy.
No, it's okay.
You can drop me back down.
I don't know how to do that. Can you do it?
I'll
I went to respond and I accidentally.
It's okay. It happens.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So right now it's realizing that you don't need to create such tight boundaries, routines, expectations, anything to avoid the unpredictable. Right now, the unpredictable is where you're going to find that inspiration and motivation. Let's not get too rigid with Venus and Virgo, right? It does not like to be there. And to realize that right now people are like, service addicts to feel loved, to feel wanted. Right now, the overanalyzing, scheduling, and if I'm of function, if I'm of duty, I'm doing good, it's become as bad as a heroin addict every day because it's not getting you anywhere. It's really giving away because, to feel worthy, but it's secretly feeling resentment of imbalance, right? It's about the martyr love, right? I do everything right. Why isn't it enough? Right now, this is also hitting an all-time high, right? Because the universe is going to really, really test where it feels like it's kind of laughing at us. The moment that you think that you don't have what it needs, the moment that we don't realize that there's things happening around the world that everyone should be, grateful where they're at and appreciative that they're not in that suffering. Don't fall in the pain of others, but acknowledge that to keep you in line. It really does. And right now, remember that the heart cannot be so narrow because of exhaustion of overfunctioning. Compassionate exhaustion. It's like compassion fatigue is what I call it.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this dog, okay? This dog has been like the healing grace for a long time. It's my daughter's dog, but here we go. I talk about it a lot and it happens, but this is what's being used to help me with that. And I see what the dynamic of the Venus and the Virgo thing playing out with this dog because I realize I got to take care of her. Here it pops up. It reminds me if I don't have my baby here taken care, but I want to open up to allow the love and reciprocation so that I can open up from the pain. And I'm doing it, but I'm doing it with this dog. That's what's happening with this dog. I'm like, okay.
Virgo, pets, animals and small domestic pets represent Virgo energy because you're here to serve them. Service, right? This is what it is, right?
Oh my
gosh. This is what you see what I mean, right? And so this is why sometimes I always make fun of Virgos because I'm like, Virgos, if you want to get a good dog trainer, get a Virgo because Virgos, like since they serve the universe from time to time when nobody wants their service, they find a pet. Virgo have that energy.
I've been saying I had my daughter's dog and my neighbor's 2 dogs outside the other day, and I was like, I would be such a great pet trainer.
Well, but because Virgo, like this is, when I tell you all have gifts, as we all can be dog trainers, but for you, it's something that when it's for you, there's needless effort compared to when you're trying to do something just because you think it's right for you. because that's a Virgo energy. And so dogs and pets and small, domestic animals, that's the Virgo energy, because Virgo represents a house of slaves. Believe it or not, it represents Amistad.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I got a crazy random question for you then. Okay. Because you loaded with Virgo. I'm Virgo rising, but my mom, who was horrible, I love her dearly. Don't ever mistake that I love my mom. Okay. But it was a real thing I had to experience. My dad is a Virgo. Same. My stepmother was a Virgo. Horrible. One of my supposed best friend for my entire life, Virgo. My daughter here that I got her dog, Virgo. So what the hell is with the slave thing and them and all of that?
Because there's a part of Virgo. So Virgo's like Pisces. They're both the martyrs. Okay? They're both the martyrs of like doing the service, but forgetting that sometimes not always you're asked to do it. You're putting this upon yourself for not having people service you or be even served yourself. Because for you, it's your ascendant. So it's not your soul. It's not your Cancer sun is what's really you. But when it's in the Virgo sun energy, right? It becomes this like defense mechanism of like like their micromanaging of life becomes a critical communication. So it feels like they're criticizing you, like from time to time, because it's the energy that you can never be perfect enough, even though that's not what they're trying to perceive. I mean, express. This is what others perceive from that, right? It's like, wow, I can never be perfect for you. There's always that. And so Virgo parents are funny in a way too, because for example, they're not strict in some aspects that other parents would be, but they have these few pet peeves that if you break, it's like you're punished, right? Because Virgos have like strict, like, but it's a,
When my oldest son was in like pre-K, dude, I was like, AEIOU. To this day, we laugh about it.
because
I
Virgos
mean,
have.
so it's more traumatizing to say AEI. I comprehend why you can speak, but you can't understand AEI.
But those are the pet peeves. But those
That's
are
what
little
you
things.
meant when you said that just
Yeah,
now.
but it's little things, but they get to you though. And I've seen it with Virgos, like, hey, chill out. Like that doesn't bother you, but this does. Little things like that, right? And so that's why Virgos have to it represents the maiden, right? So Virgo needs to find the light of God, right? Through the axis of Pisces. Learn how to they know how to be of service in the mundane, right? But they forget the connection to God. The connection has to come through Pisces, spiritual service, right? That part that is sometimes left out to really have faith. They can be of church. They go to do like a Virgo can be very much into that aspect, but do they have faith? That's where it needs to come in play, right? Because if not, it becomes just very narrow-minded and mundane, right? And it gets stuck in this life, and it forgets that if it doesn't find the light, it can really become the depravity of all zodiac wheel combined. People forget about that Virgo. You Virgo?
Wow. That's why I love the Neptune frequency. Okay, now we're gonna do a little experiment surprise, okay? Random. We're gonna switch to another frequency. I'm not gonna tell you which one it's gonna be, but we're gonna random see how it goes from the Neptune where we've been coasting just now to the new one, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. All right. Y'all ready for this? Focus your thoughts. Breathe. Relax your mind. Relax your brain. Steady breath. Deep breath, relax into it, and open your heart. If you can't read it up there, guess which frequency that was. Is. Breathe. If you have to exhale all the way, everything going out, if it's pulling that out, that means your parasympathetic nervous system is resetting itself. Let it all the way out. And breathe in. And with decibels, when they're really high, it can really get intense. You guess which one that is?
No, I'm trying to.
Dude, did you feel in the beginning?
I felt it. That's why I'm like,
Like your mind is like what happened with me? I noticed my mind started wanting to think of something. And I was like, oh snap. Because drum roll, it's Uranus. That's what Uranus does.
wow. Well, I mean, that's the unpredictable changes it does. Think of, wow. Wow.
And so I noticed that my mind was looking for something to say. And that's why I said, relax your mind because,
And Uranus rules the mind.
So revolutionary person, originality, creativity, eroticism, intuition, pure independence, inner inspiration, touch depth of your psyche, impact at art and technology, impact at society. 207.36 hertz. That's
And
your
wow. I mean, because Uranus represents that part of our, it's our spirit. It's our higher self, literally, because it's our human self. So this is what's interesting. Uranus connects to Mercury, from the God mind, spirit, and to the human mind and spirit, Mercury. There's a connection. And so Uranus also represents Yahweh in the Bible.
nice. I'm writing this down. Yeah, I highly recommend everybody utilize this playlist because you will get ahead of the internal game, so to speak, of the way that it feels when the reality of the planets are doing their magic. All right, let's see. This is gonna be intense. Damn. All right, let me turn it. That's so intense you can't even have it as loud as it goes. Breathe. Steady breath. Relax your body. Notice any place in your body that has tension. All right, deep breath in. Guess that one.
I would say Mars. I don't know.
Nope, that's Saturn, dude.
Oh wow.
That's Saturn, and it's not as horrible as it's really kind of like like comforting almost. But here's the highlight to it: it's overcoming karma, breaking karmic knots, overcoming energy blockades, repaying karmic debts, structure, order, concentration, and consciousness. 147.85 hertz.
That was interesting.
It's I love Saturn too. I play Saturn a lot. It's crazy. So this is going to be Jupiter. And this I put with, like, I'll play the heart on another device. I'll play the I don't know why I'm fast forwarding. I'll play the heart chakra frequency so that my heart can get a massage too while this expansion frequency is taking place. But this is the feel of Jupiter. And you know it's powerful when you feel like you're in a room, like you're in an escape room, like, help. Like, that's how much it affects your body. But this is what this illustration is for tonight, is how the planets really do affect your body.
100%.
Yeah. So after this, we're going to go ground for a minute and just kind of center back. But that's Jupiter. 183.58 for virtues, philosophy, generosity, prosperity, joviality. I know I say that wrong every time. Growth of personal energy, all great character traits, becoming a great person, joyful states of being, and amassing wealth.
It's amazing.
It's neat to put an empirical feel to what you keep talking about, because you say when Jupiter's in such and such, when such and such is in such and such, it's like putting that Jupiter with another frequency, but at the same time, keep going in the universe.
Yeah, because
That's what we just felt,
Yep. And if we do come from, because it's science explains this Big Bang, and I get it, even like I'm spiritual, but I get the science, right? So these gases that create it's like if you were to put to somebody the ingredients of a cake and you show them the picture, this is what comes out of this, right? So it's having that understanding, right? That all this time of evolution creates its life cycles. All these asteroids that hit us through moments are seeding, or God seeding the universe. Like, of all this that's happened, Hold on one second.
Yeah. So just that little tiny bit of illustration with going from one frequency to the next, and that feel of the dynamic that in the atmosphere on a daily, when the seasons change and another planet moves on, that's why humans are feeling that way. Because if I wouldn't have turned off Jupiter and kept running them like that, we'd be like, we can't get away from it in the universe. We have to adjust.
We have to it's like that's what I mean by obeying the universe.
Yeah.
How the church utilized that to, like, obey God, was because understanding how we can utilize ourselves by you don't have control of the universe if you don't understand what it's doing to you. Like, it has control of you. That's the worst part about it, right? It literally does. Like, what's funny? Those who don't connect with the alignments, you see what the universe is doing to them. Because I see it around on a daily basis, not only to some in my home, but my friends are here. And I've had to learn how to just step back because sometimes you want to save, right? There's a whole thing. I've been there, done that,
Yeah.
right? I was that kind of person. Oh, here comes Astro, right? Like my family Christmases. He's going to come and talk to us about something like, I don't know, like his crazy astrology or his crazy. And then I probably did in the beginning, but then it's life, like it's not easy, what we chose, that's why I think astrology is big, right? And this is why in this picture, let me see if I have it right here. Hold on. Da, 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 da. There was a, okay, here we go. Where is it? Da, da, da. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing this up here because it's gonna be pretty cool. Let me just get the picture that I wanted. Okay, so this is Venus. The bottom part of the picture, it's the flower that through our perspective, the sun moves around the earth, but we know that the earth moves around the sun, but we're able to see it, right? So time exists on earth as it does not in heaven or on space, right? So on earth, in 8-year cycles of retrograde, it creates this flower. From space, from science, it creates a 5-pointed star. Every 8 years, Venus creates these cycles in our Venus return. It's very important. We lose innocence at the age of 7, 8. Venus creates its flower in you. I just wanted to share that with you because he sounds at 222, the Venus that goes retrograde for 40 days and 40 nights, like in the Bible.
When you say lost at 7, 8, lose innocence.
Well, we don't lose the innocence, but we gain what we're able to have now, an understanding of desires. We don't lose like that. We always have a little innocence as human, but what I mean is that you're able to reason.
Oh yeah, yeah. Reflect.
You know what
I call it reflect back. I got you.
Okay, yeah.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I like that because yeah, that's totally, and that's whenever a child stops living just from their heart, and their brain coherence comes in because now they can articulate, they can consciously think of other things, they can reflect back on what happened during the first. Yes,
Think about it, because at the age from 7 to 8, the 7-year span, 7.5 to 8, we have Saturn creates its first square. Because Saturn is at the 29 year, right? So it's 7.5 square. At 14, 15, it creates an opposition. And then it creates, so when you find these planets create a dance, Uranus changes every 7 years. That's why it takes 84 years to go around the whole zodiac. And you were talking the other day about the 7 years of change. This is Uranus.
where are we in the Uranus?
We're at 0 degrees of Gemini. It just left Taurus. 2018 was when Uranus entered Taurus. That's why I bring this year up. So when Uranus entered Taurus in the spring of 2018, around May, around June of 2018, this was the beginning, and it's not over yet. It's in the ending, because we're gonna go.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's still some things that are left undone, and so this is coming back for next year for us to move forward, because we want to move forward now. But realize it, my friends. Don't you see right now why you didn't move forward? There was still this that needed to be taken care of. And so right now, Uranus, a 7-year cycle, it creates, and this is also connected to that, right? So we're able to kind of align ourselves. Why these numbers are so important and magical, like the 7, is because the 7 has a divine connection to our, divine growth that is spiritual and our physical human too. And it's because it's like Jupiter, for example, right? So Jupiter is every 12 years, right? Jupiter is our adolescence. So from the age of 12 to 13, right, we get puberty. And then when we have the age of 24, 25 with a second Jupiter return, this is when we start to mature to the adult we're going to become at 27, start to mold that. And it's fascinating because you get to see all these connections, right? Like some of us, like if you had a child from the age of 22 to 25, this is your Jupiter baby. If you had a child from the 18 to 22, this is your nodal baby. If you had one like from 27 to 31, Saturn baby.
Wow.
I know, right? Because it just helps
that
you
one,
out.
that one got me.
And you start to understand the lessons because they come back. So if you had a Saturn baby, you have the lessons come back to you with that child, for example, during the Saturn returns.
How old would you be?
27 to 31. 27 to 30, this is Saturn. If you had a child around that time.
Oh, God. I know I probably did. I got 6 kids. Okay.
Well, then it does fall into that age range, right?
So 18 to 20, what do you say is the
Eight,
nodal?
so 18 till about 21 is your nodal return.
All
So
right.
these are connected to your soul, the closest, right? And then you have 22 to 26. This is Jupiter baby, experience baby. And then 27 to 31, this is more like a responsibility baby.
Okay.
You know, like so it's and then you have another one which is at the age of 33, which is 33 is your this is very connected to your Mars energy. So this would be more of a tension. This baby, when we have a child, or this energy at the age of 33, when our charts align again to our birth charts, is when we get our Mars that comes into a position it's magnified with confidence, because it's like the charts are evolution. So Jupiter is our adolescence, Saturn is our adulthood, right? And each planet represents its cycles of this, right? Even to elderly. But the 33 is connected to the Christ consciousness. I'll leave it at that. Okay.
All right. Question.
30,
What happens?
36.
What
Go
happens
ahead.
from 31 to 33?
Well, okay, so from 31 to, I mean, so I guess it could play either role because there's a connection, right? And like if it's at 32, it can also play to this character because the ages, we get stuck in the number, but where was this position could have, it correlates with the alignments, right? So 32 and 33, right? 34, right? This is a very special Christ consciousness awakening, right? Spiritual maturity that you're about to gain both, because the toughest babies to have, the toughest, are 36, 37, and 38 years old.
Or what about 35?
35 falls into like that in between still Christ consciousness, but it's kind of like not many people have children at that age, to be honest. I've done like,
I had my last one at 35.
okay,
And
okay.
I think that's why I'm asking you, because it was hell, dude. It was.
Because it was probably falling into, see where it falls into, because remember that at 36 we get our nodal return. And so at 36 we get our nodal return and we get our Jupiter return. That's why it's a double whammy. That's why 36, 37, and 38, after you had that child, it was quite a lesson, wasn't it not?
She's Sagittarius. She's,
Oh,
yeah.
hey, hold on, let me let my cat in. So that must have been a lesson.
Oh my gosh, dude. We got separated when she was 8. She's 16 now. And that was my baby. Like we went through it. But she's realizing it.
I'm hearing my cat like,
I heard it.
yeah, he was like meowing for my mom. Come here. Come here. Hold on a second.
So we got the this, which always helps to ground back from that. So that's why grounding is important. When we went from what we were a while ago, all of that, those few planets in a row quick and felt that kind of, whoa, what's going on? That's why they say grounding, get out in the earth, ground. This is the earth and grounding frequencies, and now we're back to a good space. But this is what keeps us, with all of those planetary shifts that are happening, the frequencies of those planets, the grounding frequencies is what's keeps our earthen vessels in balance. That's why grounding is so important. And this is the frequency for it. I'm reading your comment, Firewoman. I totally agree. I'll take that dog out by the lake or in the forest. It's like by the river. And it's like a miracle just happened when I get back. I always know I'm having a good time when the popcorn comes out. Annie, I love you. Good night.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I had to go. My cat, he wanted to eat and whatever. Anyway,
Dude, I made
so
popcorn.
we should do a segment too. I think so, Tina. Like, cause like we can. Okay, so not only like with the sounds, we can connect the sounds and like during transits, right? And try them out. Like right now, I would recommend everybody download the zero point 0.1 that she's talking about and Pluto.
Sounds good. Just get this playlist.
Yeah, get the playlist. Yes, go to her page, and she showed it to you guys already. Um, because it's I mean, tomorrow's the 12th, 13th, like we're there, right? So you're gonna feel the jolt. There's something big gonna happen in government. That's gonna happen. Activation again, because so the world's going to a better place, and so right now darkness doesn't want to do that. It has nothing to lose. So we have to remember that too. Do not have fear, but we're about to see some nasty shit that's gonna come to light. That
Exciting.
what?
I started. It's exciting.
It is exciting. Look at you already having the popcorn, relaxing.
Dude, I'm having a good time. I love it. Whenever I was going through what I went through, I used to tell them, "Get your popcorn." Some of them bitches didn't even get popcorn. I'm like, you enjoying watching this? You better get you some popcorn. So that's been the thing. I got popcorn everywhere.
Ah,
It's my thing.
you know what's crazy? When like I was thinking that that I was thinking that when we think about like because I want to go deeper into Pluto, right? Next time, right? Because Pluto, when I talk about like it activates buried psychic material that hasn't been locked away. It literally is that. It's like the complexes of clusters of emotion, memory, all that. And when we realize that Pluto doesn't create new trauma, we bring trauma from Chiron that's brought into with Chiron, the south node. And Pluto allows this entrance through his astral vessel that we experience it through karmic situations of Saturn, right? So like the situations are karmic here, but they're from your past, right? We create unnecessary traumas, like by not solving them, right? And we all do that. We're human, right? But it's interesting to know where it lies, right? Because as a south node and Chiron and Pluto have a dance that they do together. And to realize that it's also where it's not new trauma, it's forcing us to meet with what's already festering, right? That Pluto is here to like give orders. Sorry to tell you, it's not the temple of peace. The moment you call out for peace, it gives you the most discord for you to see what you need to do in order to gain that access. So it's going to discharge karmic backlog, right? It helps you out from old loops and from obsession and shame that's still operating below consciousness, right? Because karma isn't punishment, it's energetic continuity. Every thought and desire wasn't fully digested becomes a psychic knot. And this knot becomes very difficult to untangle because you are meant to have some knots. But Jesus Christ, right? So some knots are that magnify into situations that recreate the original tension that it didn't finish the story. So you're adding on like a bad sequel, you know? When we assume, so I'm just thinking of myself doing this too. Like we can do it from time to time, right? And so when this Pluto translates, it's going to heat the unconscious until the knots liquefy. Go ahead.
I like it. No, I'm eating popcorn.
Okay, so you know this is that's when we get hallucinations, fantasies, or paranoia, the underworld bubbling up through the floorboards. Right? They're not crazy. They're imaginary release, like a fever burning out of your infection and your covers get wet. Right? So is there understanding what would be the process? When I tell people in my workshops, right? Confrontation. A crisis rips away your illusion of control. Right? Like that's a purpose. That's one of the you don't want to lose control. So the more tragedy you have in your life is because the more you try to control it.
Huh.
You know that? Like literally, you can avoid this, and I've been able to with that Pluto knowledge, because you can't keep repressing what you didn't want to see, right? And knowing that disintegration, right? The ego collapses. Your old identity can contain a new psychic charge. You're trying to contain a new psychic charge as a collective right now with an ego that's being updated. You're trying to put it to an old system, right? So this becomes a projection storm, right? where shadow figures appear, lovers, enemies, institutions that mirror your own denied power. And so instead of using the power of where we get shame, resentment, or we get, envy, right? Instead of using envy as an aspiration to get out of where you're at, most people utilize it to not allow anything like that near them and become nasty, right? And we've all done that. We've all been there, but know how to utilize it is key, right? Because Pluto can be the processor to the highest authentic self, but the steps of confrontation, disintegration, the projection and withdrawal and reconstitution are key, because once the emotional charge drains, new behavior patterns emerge almost automatically. And you can see this like in the light of day. That's something you can journal down, guys. Because as much as just because you walked away from a situation doesn't mean that you've accepted it. Just because you know how to receive doesn't mean that you've accepted it. I think this has helped me out and everyone else. We've learned how to receive, but can we accept what we receive? Oh, oh my God, that's a hard one. I know, but anyway.
I love acceptance mode. I think it's one of the best places on the planet to be internally.
Well, I mean, because if you resist, Pluto's going to force it from you, and that's where it becomes brutal, right? That's before you have the confrontation with your lover, but you already know something's off, right? And so if this tries to play a polite tone, right, what we call hypocrisy at its highest, what happens is that the universe allows you to put this aside at moments. It's at that moment where it reaches a threshold, because you haven't done anything to even bring clarity through words. It'll bring you at a moment where you both are going out for your anniversary dinner, and you both forget your wallet, and you can't pay. And at that moment, everything from A to Z pops out, and that marriage is no longer available. Does that make sense? The universe does that, right?
Dynamic, baby.
No, and thermodynamics is what? It's fucking Uranus and Saturn.
Oh, God.
I told you I'm good. We're good. I know what I'm talking
y'all
about.
felt it a minute ago. We went straight from Uranus to Saturn and then to Jupiter, and it was like
Chaos, order. Chaos is Uranus. Yep. Chaos is Uranus. Order is Saturn. Chaotic order right now is in demand. Learn how to order yourself in chaos. Saturn in Pisces. This is knowing how to really like having to navigate yourself in chaos and still be responsible for what you do.
yeah.
Saturn's going to go back into Aries next year, February. Oh boy. Next year, February, when 3i Atlas passes by Jupiter. I'm going to talk about this later on tonight. If I go live, maybe tomorrow. 3i Atlas and Jupiter. I got to tell you something, Tina. This is another thing we haven't talked about. So this comet that is no longer really in the definition of that, and professor of Harvard, Avi Loeb, who's a chair of the astronomer department there, spoke about this. And so as it's been seeding the universe, because it's happened before, and we've seen ancients have scriptures of these objects coming from space or heaven or whatever. And we're at this time because by next year in February, when it passes through Jupiter, and Saturn and Neptune are going conjunct into Aries at 0 degrees together, exact minute, second, and hour. This hasn't happened since 4360 BC. That's a fucking long time ago. I had to look for this. It wasn't even on, right? And so, the guy that Leo King I listen to, he's one of my mentors, right? Not the first one, the second one. I connect with some of those astrologers, right? We were talking about this. Think about it now, right? This is key. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not going to go too much because we could go to another topic, but this is something we could talk about. This is like our future self, right? When we talk about Uranus right now, it's in Gemini, right? It's going to go back into Taurus. That's why we're about to finish 2018. We're about to start a new 7-year cycle of change from this year all the way to 2033, closing out 2018 to 2025, 26, which we're doing with that. So Uranus right now is in the, but real quick, but Uranus right now is in the constellation of the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, the clusters of the 7 sisters.
Nice.
Because right? And these are whatever, when I hear people talk about this, I'm like, I know that they're talking about it because they've read it and it's a beautiful story that is truth. But if you understand where the objective of this is up in the sky, oh, it just gives you miraculous power because you're able to know that we all got it in our chart and it falls in between the star of 29 degrees Taurus, 0 degrees Gemini, right next to Aldebaran, which is called the Medusa star, demon star. I know so much I can talk to you forever, right?
I love this part. All right, so right now you said Uranus. Okay, so I want to make sure I heard you correctly. From 2018, it was Uranus to Taurus, and it's switching. But what's in the Pleiades right now? Uranus.
Uranus, because Uranus has been, okay, so Uranus is from 29 degree, okay, Pleiades, from 29 degree of Taurus to 0 degree of Gemini is like the point of it, right? The pinpoint of the Pleiades. And so the right here is where Uranus has been. Uranus has been at 29 degrees since March of this year. And it went into Gemini on July 5th of this year, right? But it's been in Taurus since May of 2018. And so now that it went into Gemini, but it's going to go back into Taurus one last time on November 22nd. It's going to go from November 22nd all the way till April 20th to clean up everything of 2018, get your assets of the soul in order, get your self-worth aligned to the currency that you receive, because that's when we're going to close a cycle. Right now, we're getting a preview of what's to come. You know, the universe does that with the outer planet. We're getting like a preview in the summer of what's coming. It's not there yet. People freak out and start something new. Relax. That's already been put on hold. You need to release this in order to start attaining more of this in connection. So right now we're closing that cycle, yes, with Uranus and Taurus. 2018.
The next 7 years will be Uranus and Gemini.
Yep. And then the next 7 are Uranus and Cancer, then Uranus and Leo.
So Uranus and Gemini, that's Mercury. That's anger. That's lungs. That's what else?
That's information overload.
Okay.
Not usable, right? But people lose their minds.
Computer.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. People are losing their minds. Information drunk. And they want, and so what happens is becomes an excessive addiction that gets us nowhere to the loops. But you know what's interesting? And the last time we've had this was in, guess what? So last time Uranus was in Gemini, 1941 to 1949. Huh? 1940. This was the age of Gemini. This was the beginning of the age of Aquarius. The atomic age is what they call it. The atomic age. The age of nuclear. The age of the computer era. The age of the beginning of AI. And so this has been in the cusp since 1947, on and off. And we're finally leaving that exit by 2027. We're in that cusp. We're already seeing the age of Aquarius, but it's still so because these cycles of 2,150 years, they're not like a human cusp, right? These are long lifespan cusp. Like a human would be 1 year, this is a 100-year cusp, right? So right now, when we look in 1941, when we start to see that this was when NBC and CBS came into existence, what the fuck, on the theaters showing the war, we're seeing that now. I always love bringing political astrology or political science because it's kind of helping us understand the structure of cycles. And so this 1941 was a computer era. This brought out the microwaves. This brought out so much television. This brought out what the future was holding and what we're at now. So this destroyed everything from telegraphs. Last time the Uranus was in Gemini, Tina, was in the 1860s. Telegraphs. So what's interesting, you see how technology has to do with Uranus and Gemini for the collective.
It's got to be more than that, though.
No, it is more than that.
What is it on the inside of a
is
person that how's it going to affect?
Okay, this is what I'm saying. But for the reason I'm bringing it out is because everything that's happening on the outside is part of what the inside is changing. It gets to see what it needs to do. This is why I was bringing that up, right? It's important to know these cycles that happen around us, to know that it's inside of us. That is where we align to the outside. It's not that we align to the people, but the pattern. So this is bringing the God mind to the human mind. This is why it's information overload. Because when you're bringing a higher mind of and like so much downloads, to make it simple, right? These downloads are coming to a centralized place that is able to experience it in real time. So this is where the higher mind meets a human mind. But this is also where the higher mind can lose the human mind. Mental institutions were also on the rise every time.
0.1 hertz, people. And this human
so but for us, Tina, the reason I always like to bring in sometimes of the other, a lot of astrologers don't bring that up because we can all fall into that. I can fall into information drunk sometimes, but I stop myself when I know what the condition is. Like it's hurricane season. I know right now this can be expected, right? Like, these are seasons. And so right now that's part of the season, but we can also really gain insights and understand the downloads that we're able to form and really allow ourselves to be unique and innovative during this time with our expression. But it takes your voice. It takes your voice right now, everybody.
You ever heard anybody say you ever drank yourself sober? You ever heard somebody say that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Tell me what.
Well, that's how it feels with information, with knowledge overload.
Yes.
Like I knowledge overloaded myself because I was searching for what the hell,
Oh, this is also
sober.
this is
Like
also
I'm
bringing,
over.
yeah, okay, so this is also bringing new kind of news. We are the news, social media. So networks are gone. They've been gone for a while. They just haven't disappeared yet. Evolution, right? So Gemini represents the news networks. Gemini represents reporters, journalism. So when Uranus comes here, what does it change for that, right? Just like in the 1940s? So this is changing within ourselves also in that connection, in the connection of information. So there's a lot of pretty cool stuff with it too, because we're able to evolve together and yet uniquely independent on our own. And remember one thing too. The planets are the sperm, the zodiacs are the egg, and the houses are where this experience happens. So the power is of the planets, right? It's never, people get too fixated on the house or the sign. The sign is after the planet. But for the outer planets, you have the generational Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But for the outer planets to get its personalized connection, it's through the house first. Wherever Pluto falls into. So you can have it in a certain sign that's generational trauma. Where does it personify? Is a house. So it becomes a personal lesson. Go ahead. Because the other planets are not like that, just the outer planets.
No, I was just looking at the timestamp because I'm going to be going back to this point in the video.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, 12:36.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just fascinating.
It is, and it's really true. We talked about the truth and the facts.
Oh, that's another one.
I mean that it's what you're saying is true, and it is a fact.
Oh, I mean,
It really happens like that.
yeah, well, and it's also a fact when you can say, for example, this is a full moon, and I know the full moon's going to come during this day because we can predict it. And so and then there's another thing too, that there's doctors on ER that work and say that this day, whenever these moons happen, there's an excess of patients, just like women who give birth, right? And so I always like to give that example, right? The fact is that I can show you in your eye that when you are able to see, this is happening one more time. And so this is verifiable faith, what I was talking to Rachel about the other day, because holy shit, right? That's why I love astrology. And that's why I know a lot of people fucking hate it in the spiritual community. It's looked upon as one of the things that, hey, yeah, you're just an astrologer. You're mainstream. I have more power than the universe. That's the mentality, because they think that it takes control of you when in reality it gives you more control than you know. But yeah, because your truth is in fact, your truth is your truth. I'm not saying that's wrong. I tell people your truth is yours and it should stay like that. But when we start to create that this is a fact, and then people get offended, Tina, you've seen it. I mean, we've been in places that Sometimes we're not as welcome anymore. So yeah, so it is what it is, right? And I don't ever, I want everyone to have their own belief, man. I have a Ceres and Aries. My independence is what allows me to nurture myself through you guys, and I want to give that back because it's about, I give a message of look at what the universe is aligning and look what it has to offer, and you guys make of that whatever the fuck you want. There's no belief in what way. It's just like kind of knowing like this is Venus. There's a reason why Venus is so special to the flower because it creates a fucking flower, literally. It's just not something I read. It's like the ancient Mayans knew about that, and the fact that Pluto can only transform a woman through nature without outer distortion through birth. When a woman transforms her body with birth, she is able only to survive that. Man has to have something like outside for a physical transformation. Isn't that crazy? The strength of the body of a female.
Oh,
Plutonic.
oh my gosh. Just that knowing has helped me survive this, what's considered, I guess, the awakening. Just the giving birth process has taught me how to articulate and feel and process the energy through my body in that way. So I'm very aware of it and very grateful for the gift of that.
Right? I mean, like, and so I understand because see, like, I'm working on a Pluto workshop that was supposed to finish like 2 months ago with South, but it's been a lot. But there's a lot of things because it's if you know Pluto, you got life under control. If you understand, if you know Pluto and your moon is so important, guys, to know because that's a driver of your car. The sun is a car, the moon's a driver, Mercury is a radio, Venus is your interior, and Mars is how you drive that car, right? And so, therefore, we have to realize that this is what you have control of. You don't have control of the city called Saturn. You don't have control of the oceans called Neptune.
Uh-huh. That's what you mean by inner planets and outer planets? Okay.
Like in the Sephira tree, 5 and 5. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars is your vessel. You have control of that. What you don't have control is of Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. You see 5 and 5, right? How they play out. And the polarity. And in the tree of the Kabbalah, the Sephira has also 10. And so we can understand that when you know what you don't, when you understand that there's, when you know that there's fate, you die one day, you cannot tell death to wait. And that's outer planet energy, right? That's why I think it's beautiful to understand the outer planets in order to have control of your inner self through outer events.
Yeah, because they are not trying to unalive you. This is the issue I have with the focusing or thinking or belief system that unalivement is the goal here. It's not.
No, that sounds like drinking the juice.
Yeah, it's like
The Kool-Aid.
that's why everybody's in hell because they trying to
Oh
get
my
out of their own body. Like,
And so they
come
become
on.
miserable here.
Mm-hmm.
They fell for the indoctrination that spirituality was infiltrated with, Tina.
Yeah,
That you don't need, like
I've
misery
been
is
there for
me
sure.
me too. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing, like less is more misery, like to become, and then we you become, you start to see that you're forming yourself to be that zealous, person that you didn't want to be because but you need to go through that too. That's it. And not everybody's meant to kind of, I guess, be able to hold that weight. But yeah, so the outer planets allow me to, like, I know now that there's fate. I know the universe is in control. This gives me a lot of weight off my shoulders though. People don't realize that it doesn't give me that so my destiny isn't destined, meaning that there's a condition there. But every experience that I get, if I understand my lens, I can create what I want from it. See, and then that's when you start to see your reality of where free will comes in, but understanding that it's not that free will, that when the planets are going retrograde, I don't give a fuck if you want to move ahead. Right now, we're going backwards. For now, the universe is everybody. Let's go clean up what we are taking. That's why we've been kind of in a confusing timeline. Like we're like, are we here yet? But it feels like I am. But why? You know, why does it feel like yesterday felt like the past and today feels like the future? And because right now we're in that and it's about to hit its peak.
I have been hyper focused on staying in the timeline that I'm wishing to create, like not allowing my thoughts to travel. If I
Ooh,
like, not at
dangerous
all.
thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just staying. And dude, I've been having some dreams out of this world dreams.
You're about to even have more. Because
Okay.
remember that
I love it.
the moon and Neptune, I forgot to add the moon. The moon also rules your sleep and dreams. But Neptune gives you that what we call out of body experience with Pluto and them, right? But Neptune is a creative part. So there is a moon. So you are connected to that, Tina. You see? You are not like, even though we all are, because I like to, but you know something, I do believe that we all have enhancements in certain connections. Because if not, then a car is a car. It'll take you down the road, but a Jeep can go up a mountain, probably like I don't know, a Toyota can't, or a four-door sedan. Like some of us are just that. We have a purpose, though. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. No one's better. We're different. You adjust yourself to make yourself better, right? Start impressing yourself. That's how you impress others. It's not by impressing others. You don't impress yourself. But you need to do that now without looking at a plan, guys. Impress yourself in a way that's you. And I know easier said than done, but it does work though. You might get some eyebrows, but fuck them.
That was there you go. That was the toughest part in releasing the pivot for me, was thinking of really focusing on myself and my healing, because I always wanted to scoop in my thoughts and bring my children into the dynamic, or the world, or anybody else. And the universe kept showing me that when I am standing in my full power, that's the power that emanates, because my heart's desire is for everyone to make it, that's what emanates for everyone, that I don't have to have that energy, that they have it in them, that when I'm focused on it in me, that my power is the strongest in that way, and then it emanates to bring them in to the power of life. So that was a huge pivot for me, to really work, to really let all of the other thoughts go and just focus on my healing and allowing it to be.
Yep. And to utilize your powerhouse placements like your moon.
Well, speaking of that, so I am technically, I'm Cancer, Sun, and Moon. That means I'm 2 parts moon and 1 part sun, right? Well,
Well, no,
3 parts moon and 1 part sun.
and no, but like, and a lot of your energy is embodied in Cancer, because the sun and the moon are the king and the queen of your chart. The sun and the moon in the north and south node are 50% of your chart's energy. Okay, that's a power of it. That's where you have the chemistry. And so when we go by this, because people get fixated on their ascendant, when the ascendant is just a condition that doesn't have a essence of the planets, right? The planets are the ones that are the sperm. So when we start to understand that the ascendant changes when you move to a different country, my ascendant in Peru, where I was born, is a Pisces. My ascendant in the United States, where I've lived almost my whole life, is an Aquarius. What we call astrocartography. If you've heard, it is interesting, because you get to see why you feel different in different places, and why some of us like vacations, when we go with family or friends, and it's in our charts. That blew me away too. Well, I would do that with my brother when we had family vacations, but you see, and it aligns with you. What part of the world aligns with you best?
What's that word you said?
Astrocartography.
Okay. That's what that means, is where you are in different.
How the planets affect you where you're at.
Got you. All right. So this is Mars.
Okay, let's hear Mars.
Deep breath in. This is one of the ones we have control over. This is the 144.72 hertz. And I love this one because when I'm trying to get up, well, not trying, when I'm actually getting ready to get up in the mornings, and I've just worked through a whole night's worth of heaviness or had dreams or whatever, I put on the Mars frequency with something else, depending, because this is for potency and strength, muscle growth and endurance, sex drive and performance, testosterone, it says for men, but for women, it helps me too, root chakra clearing, exercise motivation, dominance and rulership, goals, focus and fulfillment, sexual issues resolved, sexual energy increase. So this is the one of the ones you said that we have control over, and that's the Mars frequency. And that's how it felt. And I didn't say anything about breathing to start with. When you said it's something we have control over, I almost said something and I thought no, because that memory will be into each person and each person will remember that we have control over our thoughts and what's happening in our breath. So even though we have a guided person guiding a meditation, we still know to remember this for ourselves.
Indeed. I mean, because Mars, well, because we've been going, everybody's like watching. We've been going through all these planets, and she has them on her page. You guys should go and look, listen to all of them, download that. Mars, wow. I mean, Mars is important. It's how we act. It's our drive. So people see that. People see how we act, right? It's literally where it's action consequence, right? It's what it represents. It's knowing how to have a healthy Mars, because a healthy Mars allows us to have clarity, stamina, and kind of clean boundaries. It's like utilize your anger to know your boundaries. Don't utilize your anger as a weapon, right? Because that's another one too. Um, and so I would say it's like the energy for want, move, defend, penetrate, pursue, decide. And so right now it's in Scorpio, guys. So it's collectively a little bit, where people's words with actions right now might feel like they're just like trespassing, but it's just an universal extension of what is kind of needed for us to hear. And that's why it's gonna get a little tough, but we're gonna make it through. I'm excited about it,
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
wow,
So here's Venus,
let's hear
the
Venus.
star of the show. Breathe. Breathe. Deep breath in. Hold it. And let it go. Keep letting it go. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Let it go. Extremely let it go. And breathe regular. Deep breath if you need to. Dude, that's Venus.
I mean, Venus is that's intense. I mean, it has like a high.
Mm-hmm. It does. That's why it's like it's intriguing. It's like I know it's not supposed to get along with several of them, but at the same time, it's intriguing to me.
It is intriguing. Well, because Venus is what makes us intriguing. It's what gives us our desires.
Okay. So the characteristics: love and great sex, art and inspiration, and again, lovemaking, beauty, relationships, great trust, appreciation, attraction, peace, and unification. And this is, we didn't do Mercury, did we? Or did we in the beginning?
I think we did Mercury.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, let's do Mercury one last time, sure.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Which we're talking about that going into Gemini now, Uranus into Gemini. This would be the frequency that we're getting ready to head into. Or we just stepped in, or however you said it. We're letting go here, clearing thoughts. Lots of breathing out all the way. Practice sitting really still. Deep breath in. Release it all the way. That's our baby. That's our Mercury in retrograde. All right, and so the other one, what's that?
Keep on.
The other one that is real, these two other two are just kind of supplementary information, but the last one in the playlist is one that could be implemented daily. This is the sun, the moon, and the earth frequency. And I recommend that you click on this video and look for the content creator of it because they have a bunch of really good videos. They got one called The Ring of Fire, which is amazing. Dude, this one will change your life.
Yeah, I mean,
It's beautiful. So that is the playlist, and this has been one of my all-time greatest lives for me personally that I have thoroughly enjoyed, and I just want to thank you for that.
oh, I mean, like it because you feel like like when you leave a live, you leave like a little fulfilled in some aspects. Like right now, that's what I feel.
Yeah, feels good.
That's what matters, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I feel
Exactly.
fulfilled.
I'm like, I wanted to have such a great time, a good night, and that's what Saturday
And
Night Live's supposed to be about.
yeah, so right now I'm able to just like relax, like, and I really like I'm gonna go enjoy a good movie, chill out, right? Because I feel like information was exchanged, and so you don't feel like you had to force it, pressure it, and you feel like it was more connected. So let's do this more often. So I think that we
Agreed.
should. So
Agreed.
like, everybody, I will be on tomorrow, but I'm telling you last message. Let's prep for this Pluto that's about to shift in our lives. So on the positive note, just know that the more that your life feels like it's like kind of intense and you have to move around through life, and that's a positive thing. Right now, the more that you feel that there's a little chaos around you, things out of order, navigate yourself through that. You can't put yourself right now in a situation that's, this is where trying to keep it smooth, trying to keep it just like, the peace around you, the order around you right now. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I've been like a piece of driftwood, dude. I'm just going to drift
Well,
down,
just,
enjoy my life. If something comes up and I don't want to do it, but it's really a fun thing that I should be doing, I make myself go do it. Oh, God, I
yes.
do it.
Look.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, this is Neptune. So in North Node in Pisces. When I say go watch a movie, right? When I was talking about that, why? Because Neptune rules like movies. It rules the illusion, television, right? So if the North Node is in Pisces, which is Neptune ruled right now, this is where creativity is going to come through a movie that you watch. There's going to be those solutions that you're trying to find in the real world. And so right now it's about stepping out of your real world to enter the real world. So like that's holding us back right now.
One
The
of the
re
things I wanted to ask you for confirmation is putting this together medicinally. So that's in the North Node, okay, but what about if it's in the person's house? So, like, if a person says, "Where is my Neptune?" So Neptune's in the thing, but if it's in there,
Where's your Pisces? Where's your house in Pisces right now?
I'm gonna have to look. But I'm just
So
saying,
no, for you it's in the seventh house. So for you, it's literally a reflection of everyone. It's the other. So right now
okay,
for you, this is going to be the effect that it's been from the other that's allow you to see where you're going to take your personal transformation and your emotional investments from now on. Like this
okay,
is like locking up. Where are you going to
that makes
invest?
sense. Yeah,
So it's going to test you. So you're going to get, but you know what it is already, that there's still
yeah.
whatever's been lingering there that you know hasn't been resolved, but you've been good to not really step into something that hasn't come to you yet. This is all where we're going to get that resolution. It's not that bad. The thing that scares me is that we're all going to feel, right now, assumptions are running high. So let's say, for example, like that I didn't show up tonight and I went on another live when I had it with you. But during that time, it was because somebody called me there as an emergency and I was going to go to yours. But your assumption ahead of time could have been that I avoided you. I should have called before though, but it's the assumption that I did something that was, could have been purposely. That's what I mean right now. Our loved ones could be,
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
it's not
Just for an example, okay, just for an example, if I would, because of probably Virgo, say you still should have sent a text and said I'm on an emergency thing, because if I don't get any kind of a thing, I won't be like, oh, I couldn't take an explanation, but it will definitely put a check mark in, oh, this ain't gonna ever fucking happen again.
Yep. So yeah, yes, that's exactly it. And right now, it's having that opportunity to know that there's where we have to accept as is right now. This is
That's,
as is. I mean,
that's
like
good, yeah.
the moment that you complain about it, and trust me, you can't, because I've been there, and I'm talking about days ago. We can get there. The universe is gonna go, oh, okay. Then why don't we make it even harder to see why you're not appreciative of what you have now?
Oh, that part. Oh my God, dude. Immediately I go into, I'm okay.
I
I'm
got
good.
one. Yep.
Thank you. I got nothing to say, but thank you. That's
Nothing. Thank you. Right? Like if you
all
have
I
it
got
like that,
to
what can you do? What can you
say.
do?
Yeah.
This is the way it's gonna work out. And when we understand that right now life is giving you exactly what you asked for, it just didn't come in the way that you needed it.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
went an I to get it. Yeah.
I had to realize that we chose where we're at right now. And I kept telling people, make sure in the summer you enjoy your little Hakuna Matata, like enjoyment, because September and October,
I
because I kept,
remembered you said that. I told
right.
myself, enjoy this. Dude, I studied the leaves around me just to
No, you
enjoy
went
it.
out.
Yeah.
You when I saw you in the summer, you enjoyed because I knew already that this was gonna bring this energy that even though you try to go on a vacation right now, life is putting these obstacles, and if you don't know how to see the beauty of wherever you're at right now, you're gonna think that you're ruining it when you're not doing anything but just living it.
I can totally dig that. Well, we
So,
got
all right,
this.
guys.
We're on the other side of it.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been 3, 4 hours. Let's do it again.
Yeah,
Bye,
for
bye,
sure.
guys.
Definitely. Love y'all. Thank you.